Hey everybody, welcome to Stay Fishy Friday, special edition. Reeps come over. Oh man, we have had a busy week, crazy week, and all kinds of stuff going on, and lots to tell you about, I guess. But you guys get ready. The word of the day is Reaper because he's here. Just to make sure everybody's good on this. This is Reaper. That is Jerry. Okay.
Hi, Dad.
Didn't need your help.
All righty.
I mean, you got me stuck over here in a corner anyway.
You guys can both move over a little bit. I'm in the corner of mine. So Reaper, you move towards me a little bit. There you go. Now you move over. And now you're not like banished off to the side. There you go.
Buenos dias, amigo.
I hate to tell you this, but that reminded me that, as soon as you did that, and you talked a little Mexican, you sounded just like Cheech and Chong when he was high.
Yeah, probably. It's probably where I got it.
All right, so let me get to here. This one here, I'm still setting up things, guys. It's hard for me to see all this.
Let's get fishy with Richie, Harry with Jerry, and go deeper with Reaper. Cheers, everyone. Here's to Tracy. All right, I like that.
Reaper, Reaper, Reaper.
I like that one.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so I can minimize this one now.
Yeah, we know.
Well, actually, no, I got to turn it to where I can see how many people are here.
54 right now.
Okay, so let me minimize this. Now we go back to our screen, and now I've got the chat up. I'm good to go. Maybe make that a little bit larger because I can't see. What's just that? Here? No. There we go. Now I can move it. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't really like Windows 11. Okay, so now I can do this. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay,
He does this just for your entertainment.
all right. No, I'm saying what I'm doing so they're following along and know what I'm, I can't set the chat size until after it starts, and then I have to set the chat size. Hence why I'm hooking up the second TV so I can put everything down there and leave the chat up on the main screen.
Oh.
But we ran out of a cable.
Yeah. You know how you go through phases? Back in the day, I had 8-tracks, I had cassettes, and then I had CDs, and then I had DVDs, and then you get Blu-rays, and now everything's electronic. And now you try and find an old cassette adapter or something, I used to have the thing that plugs into your cassette deck. You can plug into your Walkman and play it, and you can't find it no more, but you have it. That's my situation with an HDMI cable. I've got this, I don't know, what is that? 50-inch TV.
Yeah, 50.
To hook up or load this screen, and I can't find an HDMI for the life of me. So I you know what it is? My son told me, Dad, you're getting to be a pack rat. You don't need any of these cables. I had 7 boxes of cables on them shelves.
What, last summer?
Last summer.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't need this. And he started pulling out things. You don't need this. And he pulls this out. I'm trying to give him reasons why I wouldn't need it. And he convinced me I didn't need none of it. I threw it all away. Well, there was 20 HDMI cables in there. You know what I'm saying? I had heat sinks in there for building computers. I don't build computers no more. I have all kinds of things in there. And now I just know how many times I could have gone to them boxes and got what I needed. And I don't have it. So I'm like, dang it, Josh.
I did the same thing when I moved. I got 1 box now.
Okay. So let's go get to the no one puts Jerry in the corner. I can't read this. I need to go get my glasses, guys. You're gonna have to excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if I could tell you, I would. I'll be right back. Continue talking.
Keep talking.
Oh, not dinner.
Oh, well, Jerry bought us dinner actually tonight. I went and picked it up.
Wow.
It's Joe Barbecue. I don't know if you've seen it. We did a little video on it when I brought some ribs, bones, and the guy's got it's just a food truck right now. And he does have like another building, but it's not a food truck. It's literally a building the size of a food truck. And it's where he smokes everything. Ribs, pulled pork, brisket. He does turkey, chicken, and every now and then pastrami. But he takes the brisket and he takes the scraps and he does a 70-30 mix. And he turns them into cheeseburgers, half-pound cheeseburgers. And they're delicious.
Big kids can be too.
And that's what we ended up. Jerry actually said, "Hey, you gonna buy that?" I said, "I can." He's like, "All right, grab me, Rich, and you one." So that's what we had for snack before or dinner, basically.
Now, mind you, I'm over here doing so good at my diet. You know, when I hit 340 again, I'm like, that's it. I got it. And I'm down to 315 now. And I'm skipping all these meals. I'm doing all this. I'm trying to do good. And Reaper comes over with this. It's like Superman's kryptonite. You know? I couldn't. But I did take off the top bun and not eat it. And I ate the sandwich with just the one bun.
Yeah, because I asked him, I said, "Man, I can't. I was only eating like half of it. The meat and the bottom, but I couldn't even get to the top." I'm like, "How the hell are you getting to the top?" He goes, "I don't have a top." I'm like, "Oh, no wonder."
I'm holding it by the cheese.
Yeah,
And the
it's like, no wonder. It's like I couldn't even get it in my mouth.
Terry Kerr says, "How's your house going, Reaper? We haven't heard in a while."
Hey, it's coming. I got the floor in the kitchen done. Johnny's come over and cut the grass a couple times. Rich got some lawnmowers. We might look at them because I got to get a lawnmower. It's just a little itty bitty because I ain't got no backyard. But they put a trailer in the back and they would mess up the backyard worse than it was. So I did a video of that, but I can't take it into them.
You only had 10 foot of backyard to begin with. They
Yeah.
encroached like 6 foot onto it.
So I got to clean up. I got some gutter work. I got some, some things to do. I'm gonna need your cement mixer.
Okay.
I gotta repair the driveway, but I gotta figure out how many bags to buy, and I'll stack them up in the shed until I got enough. And then we'll take like the bottom half of the drive apart and board it and then fill it and do our thing.
Matt Lemay says 315 Wild Ridge. That's great. What is that? I don't know what 315 is.
Yeah.
Your
Is that-
weight?
How many?
315.
315 my weight. I just said that.
How
Thank
much
you.
it
Thank you.
weighs.
Thank you. I'm figuring another 2 weeks, I'll be down to 300, 305.
Depends on how many more rib sandwiches we
You
get.
stop bringing over this delicious food. I mean, I love you like a brother, but damn it.
So good.
Ashley Smith says, by the way, nice hosting, Paul. Looks like y'all had fun. Oh, we had nonstop fun. Except for, okay, you guys know how I don't script nothing. I don't go back and redo it. Paul did a lot of that. He's like, hey guys, we're here to Ohio. You know what? Let's redo that. I don't like that. And then he'd do it again. Hey guys, we're here to Ohio Fish Rescue, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, wow, okay, I guess you can do that. I don't do that. I'm here. I tell you what's going on. I show you, and that's it. You guys can follow along. That's why it's real. What they see is actually what happens. And sometimes I leave. Like sometimes if we mess up really bad, somebody's over there, starts dropping potty mouth. I have to cut that whole section that even went to that part of the conversation. I cut it off there, but I don't redo it. And make it better. So nothing scripted here. Okay. Tyler Kurt says, you guys are all good friends you want to have, but you very rarely ever find. You're all inspirational people, and I just enated to say thank you for all you've done for the rescue and everything here. Very nice of you. Thank you guys. It just pains me to think that you guys are the best I can find. I'm sorry. I meant that. Totally different than the way it sounded. Seriously, my whole life, this is the best I can come up with. I'm the best you can come up with. For all of our years, we should have like the king of England or something as a friend. Something you can.
Believe it or not, I'm here by choice.
Not his choice. He's got a chain on his ankle under the table right now. Oh shit! I kid people. Don't take that kind of stuff seriously.
Somebody will.
I know. I get berated with all kinds of comments. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Oh, it jumped. First jump of the night.
Oh,
Nope, that's where you
we're
live.
gonna have to get a rope for that jump.
Raheem says, I wish he was there for the live stream. You know what? I thought he was going to come stay a couple days. I had a whole checklist of things we were doing, and one of them was to get the Camaro out and take him around the block and scare the living bejesus out of him. Or take him down the highway or something. And, you know, we did the day, and we were done, and then he goes back to his hotel room, which I offered him to stay here. And he went back to his hotel room. He comes over in the morning at 7:30, and he says he's leaving by 9. He'll be back on his plane. I'm like, holy, I had all kinds of things to do. And I told him the list. He's like, well, we can get that car out right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I got to go to the place. I got to go to the special place to get the race fuel. I got to come back here. I got to put fuel in, and I got to pump it up until it makes pressure. Then take my 4 float bowls off the carbs, clean them out before it gets through the carburation and all that. And, you know, make sure it's not float valve sticking and all that stuff because it's been sitting for a year without being started. So all we did was take a ratchet and turn the motor over, you know. So it was too much, you know. It couldn't do it in an hour that he needed done.
No. No way.
Ashley Smith says, I mean, he does have a lot of followers, so I guess he tries to make it worth the check. Well, the thing is, everybody on the internet does that. Makes the video to the best that they can, goes back, edits it, changes it, reshoots this to make it the video that they pictured in their head. And that's all fine. It's just that we don't do that here. We don't have time. We don't have the extra manpower. We don't have a cameraman. We don't have an editor. You know, it's all, you know, Josh edits and films his stuff. I edit and film my stuff. And between the two of us, you guys get a wide variety of stuff happening, but nothing fake, nothing, you know, unreal. And I'm not putting down other YouTubers. I'm just saying we've got something here that you get to see. It's like, you know, the days of our OFR lives. You know, it's a soap opera.
Hey, it takes them an hour just to edit me out of the damn things. You can imagine what it would take if he tried to script it.
Dawn says, I can't get the sound to work on my TV, just the phone. Let me check my sound. Sounds, hello. Let me go down. No, we're on. We're putting out sound.
Good.
So,
Nobody else is saying anything.
Yeah, everybody else would be saying something too.
Right.
So, maybe you have to restart your computer or something, you know, check into it.
Good luck with that.
Oh my God. Oh no. Is that Reaper beard still over there? Let me see it. Is that over there? Look under there. Remember when I dressed up like you?
No.
Dang it. Somebody just said, I'll get to it in a minute, but I moved past ZZ Top reunion. I was going to put the beard on. Wow, it jumped a lot. That was your birthday?
I think you went back way too.
Yeah, you did. You went
Yeah.
Okay, here I'm at the bottom. Okay, there's a ZZ Top. Oh, hello, Rich Reaper and the Grim Reaper. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, we see Reaper and his dad together. Doom Pie.
Thanks, Doompy. Is that pronounced Doompy?
Doompy or Doom Pie? I've never figured it out. If it's Doom Pie, give me a thumbs up or a yes. If it's Doom P, give me a no, and I'll know which one it is.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He's not one of the 7 dwarfs.
That's the 8th forgotten dwarf that never gets on screen.
Oh, yeah. I can relate.
Okay.
No, what got to him and I really liked was when he backed into that piece of wood.
Yeah. Okay, here's what we were. All right, let me see if this still works. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Ashley Smith says, I hope you got some donations, some subs from us coming. A few subs. No donations or nothing, but, you know, appreciate it. Ashley Smith, hey, the Pope is now from Chicago, so it could happen. That's what we need, the Pope to visit here. There we go. And see our good work and our, you know, willing to help the community and all that. You guys look like ZZ Top Fin, Unfiltered Fish Keeper.
Tough, easy, tough. That's bad.
Matt LeMay said, saw Paul's big swim. He looked amazed with the monster pine and its monster fish. The ripsaw really got to him. Kid in the candy store, yeah.
Didn't he get slapped upside the head by a ripsaw when he was here?
You know, I was thinking about that. And the original video, I believe it was a big iridescent shark
Oh, okay.
that slapped him in his face.
I remember hearing the story,
yeah.
but I thought it was a ripsaw.
Raheem says, Reaper, 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 drink up, guys.
All right.
And he dashes says ZZ Top
Yeah.
cover band. If we had a cover band, it would mean both of these guys would have to know how to play an instrument. You play anything other than the war drums?
I haven't found an instrument yet that I couldn't find its voice and make it sing.
Okay. Reaper?
But I don't play anything. I've been playing with guitar for over 50 years, but I don't play it.
Gotcha.
It's-
None of you ever better come up with skin flute. I
I can
will
make-
not tolerate it.
I can make it sing, but I don't really know much about it. And it's the shit I picked up along the way.
Tyler Kerr says, remember, Rich, friends come and go, but best friends and family never leave you. Well, damn, that must mean Jerry's a best friend because he don't leave at all. He told his kids this is his retirement plan right here. He did. I was like, are you serious? So I had to ask him, I'm like, what if something like that does happen? He goes, well, he said, go in my phone and reverse my porn history. Delete that. He said, give everything to my kids. I'm like, okay.
He's got to get the Punjabi in there.
I had to. Sean says, how much power does it have? Well, it's a 540 cubic inch motor, and with the 1,000 horse of nitrous and the Enderley alcohol injector on it, and the alcohol fuel pump and all that, it was 2,200 horsepower. Without it, with just the Holley 950 HPs, now I have a dyno sheet, but the motor wasn't broke in yet, and I wasn't making the same mistake as I did in the last motor. So we have the shit, I forget what it's called. It takes out cylinders at the top off, like a tack. Like once it gets to 6,000 RPM, it'll just take out cylinders, so it won't get above 6,000 RPM. It's a top off of something. I forget what it's called. It's a common term, and I can't believe I can't remember it. But we had it topped off at 6,000 RPM, and we had the timing back at 30 degrees top dead center because it was still in its break-in period. And we still hit 842 rear wheel horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 734 of torque. And then we took them carbs off, put the 1,000 horse of nitrous, put the alcohol injector on there, which the alcohol injector does. Now, there's going to be people that don't know what I'm talking about and people that know this terminology. But the alcohol injector works off CFM. It does 2750 CFM air. That's the amount of air flowing through. Well, a 950 carb does 950 CFM. So two 950s is 1,800 CFM. So the alcohol injector acts like a third 950 on there, which would only be 2,700, So it's 2,750 with the Enderley alcohol injector. But also the alcohol injector runs at a much cooler rate, and it cools off the blower to where the motor's running. It's actually condensating on the outside of the blower instead of getting hot like normal. And it cools down the blower, makes the blower way more efficient, adds maybe 100 horsepower there. So with everything on there, it was 2,200 horsepower at the rear wheel, which is incredible. But, the car's not made to go to the track. I have a bunch of race car buddies. The problem is I didn't want to ruin the body. There's plenty of cars out there with, full roll cages in them, all cut up and all this, and they don't retain their body. You can buy a full, NRHA certified roller body for, 25 grand. Put your drivetrain in it. I don't want to do that. My car is worth way more. I didn't want to destroy it. So what I did was I went back, since I already didn't have the numbers matching motor, I went back to 67 and got all of the factory options you can get. So every option you can get on there, including there's a spotlight that plugs into your cigarette lighter that goes out the window. You can have that. That was an option on 67. I got that. I got the trailer hitch that bolts onto the 67 bumper. The rear window defogger, the fold down rear seat, the deluxe interior, the tack in the dash, and the gas from the gas now in your center console. I mean, I've got all the upgrades you can get for 67. So anybody that comes by, they open up my car and you know, it's all brand new, everything from the ground up, you know. So the window fuzzies are new, the window snubbers, the rubbers on the door, everything brand new. That thing closes like it's a tank. You know, you shut that door, it's like dunk, that's it. And there's no rattles and not everybody is just like drooling over the interior and the body. And then the horsepower guys are drooling over the motor. And then, you know, you got the younger crowd who drools over the system that's in the trunk. You know, and you know, I made everything in the trunk match. I got chrome amps. I got a clear acrylic speaker box with Visonic speakers. Now, I don't really necessarily like Visonic speakers, but they were the only ones I found that were red cones that had chrome backs, and they matched. So inside of this clear acrylic box, the back is lined with Mylar, so it's a chrome back. And then I have a chrome-sided neon light in there that lights up red. So, I mean, everything is matching in the trunk that matches. Even my fire extinguisher is chrome, my battery box is chrome, my nitrous bottle is chrome. Well, it's highly polished aluminum. But everything in there is good, and, you know, it looks like that. The thing is, I can take my you know, $30,000 motor, my $5,000 tranny, and my $4,000 rear end out, and I can buy brand new from GM a 454, you know, big block for like $8,000. I can buy a Muncie 4-speed for $1,000, which I don't have to because I've got 5 of them in my back barn. And then I can put in a 12-volt posi rear end, and I can still sell the car for the same amount without that horsepower in it. And then I can go buy me a roller, you know, already certified car with roll cage and all that, and go to the strip if I want. But that being said, all my race car buddies are quicker than me at the strip. I don't go to the strip, but I look better on the street from street light to street light. You know, at 55 miles an hour, this is one of the greatest things this car does. You know, I get kids coming up next to me in their daddy's Mustangs or something and revving it and stuff. And as I look at them, I downshift a second and punch it. And my car lifts up like 3 inches in the rear end from the tires getting, you know, they're so fat, they get skinny and tall. The whole ass end lifts up, smoke's billowing out at 55 miles an hour. And I get sideways out and I'm pulling away from them. I hit third gear and I get sideways in front of their lane and just, I let off. And I go back to idling down the highway, and I've never had anybody not like it, you know. It's a fun machine. I call it my adult sit and spin.
Sean, now you know how much power it has over him.
That was a big part of my life, building that car. You know, me and Richie, we spent every moment together for probably 8 years.
It's quite a car.
You've been here 2 years. You never even heard it run.
I know.
The last time he heard it run was probably your wedding, or not your wedding, your with Tim.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it out since then.
And that's when I had the 4-speed in it.
Yeah.
And the old motor, which this one's way more powerful. But it stopped up front of his, what was it? The
Bachelor party.
Bachelor party. I pulled up and I let Reed know I'm coming. I pulled up out front, and he's supposed to be out front. And I pull up out front. He gets in the car. Now we're on a dead end street. So if I go that way, I have to stop, turn around, and come back this way. So Reed comes out. He gets in the car, and I take off. And I go 4 gears, just baking, just posi marks everywhere, and just getting shitting sideways, loud as hell. And we get to the end of the street. I turn around, and I do it again. I come back, 300-foot posi mark, all 4 gears. And, we let him out, and I'm like, all right, Reed, I'm going to go get the car home, and I'll be back in a minute. And I forwarded out of there, and I took off. I got on the entrance to the highway is right in front of, their lane of houses. And I just got on it down the highway, and I went home. And as I'm pulling in my driveway, and the garage is opening, I'm pulling in the garage and shutting off the car, I realized, because I couldn't hear it with the car running, that my phone's ringing. So I pick it up, and I'm still sitting in the car. He goes, Rich, where are you? And I'm like, dude, I just pulled in my garage. Why? He goes, dude, there's helicopters here, cop cars everywhere. I'm looking for you, bro. I'm like, I'm in my house. Hang on, let me close my garage door. I closed my garage door. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm on my way back, bro. Robert Merman says, what's the difference between sin and shame? Ooh, I don't want to say my answer.
What?
Right? So I don't know what the answer is there, buddy.
We leave that one.
Griselda Freitenstein, good name. Is Brock still not coming around? Haven't seen him lately. No, he's up doing an.
Wait a minute. How old is that boy?
I believe 19 or 20.
And
He's what?
he's listening to his mom. I mean, I'd be like,
He lives at his mom's house.
They're paying for his
Oh,
school.
geez.
They're paying for his college, all that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But anyways, he's doing an internship. I guess he quit college, and
Really?
he went to Chicago, and he's staying there doing an internship with Greg Woodstock on ponds.
What?
Yeah. Well, he figured he's not allowed over here no more. So, yeah, might as well do something. Marie Dean, the three fish amigos. Ashley Smith says, y'all need more volunteers on the YouTube side. Think that would definitely help. Not that it's bad now. No, I would love that. You know, you got all these vocational school kids, people going for film and all that kind of stuff. They could be here right now running our YouTube for us, videoing all kinds of stuff and putting out videos for us. That would be great. I wouldn't mind that at all. I'd put out a video every day at that point, because I'll still do my Mondays and Fridays and let the kids do Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, you know, and it'd just be more for us, you know, and more for you guys. All right.
6:30. You want to do Tracy?
Yes, Marie Dean just said Tracy update. How many people we got?
We're up to like 144 or something.
That's it?
Yeah.
What is it?
144.
Dang. I mean, I guess we got to. It's been a while now.
Mm-hmm.
It's 6:30. We're usually in the first 15 minutes,
Right.
but we usually wait till 200 or so.
I know.
All right, so let's do the Tracy update. This week, Somebody Piece put out its 6/29 Tracy update. It's been a long week with her. Let me see, what did we do this week? I've had no problems with her, but I guess the one nurse said she got sick and this and that. And she ordered some antibiotics and she got a chest X-ray. And the rest of the nurses and me are like, why? Her shift's over with. Tracy's fine. What are you talking about? And I don't know. We don't know what prompted that, what caused that. But you know, we had them come here and take an X-ray for no apparent reason, and blah blah blah. I don't know if the nurse just likes drama. I don't know.
Which nurse?
The nurse. Yeah.
I was wondering.
So we don't know why she did all that. She might be a drama queen. I don't know, but there's nothing wrong with Tracy that I know of. You know, she mentioned a couple things that I don't see no sight of that at all. She's doing fine. She's out there on 99. You know, her O2 is 99. You know, her heart rate's good. She's doing good. She's comfortable. I got the air conditioner on. It's keeping it at 70, 71 in the house. She's comfortable as can be. I don't know. So, you know, I told her, you know, plain simple, you know, if you got a problem, knock on my door, wake me up before you call the doctors in and all this stuff happens, because everything gets put down in the notes. You know, just call me and I'll come out. Like one time she's like, I can't get her off of this. She's at 89 and 90. She won't come up, you know, blah, blah, blah. I go out there and I reposition her. I suction her out. I clean her up. I pull the sheet off her because she was burning hot. Pull the sheet off of her. And she was just fine. Right back up 97, 96. And, you know, doing fine. Didn't need no stressing and all that stuff. I'm like, you claim you're the most educated nurse here with the most schooling. You know, you're the only registered nurse here. The other three are LPNs, and they all do a better job than her. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. So I told her, don't call the doctor no more. You know, wake me up. I don't care. If I can come out here and I can do better than an RN, I'm just some fuck. I'm just some dude. I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing your job that you've gone to all these years of schooling for better than you can do. I mean, come on. the other nurses have never had a problem with the way I leave Tracy in their hands, when you switch off, but they've all had problems with her. So I don't know. But anyways, other than that, one time there hasn't been a problem. I'm still talking to her all the time. She still shows all the signs of awareness. Nothing gained this month or this week, but definitely nothing lost and nothing bad. She's been, for me, she's been amazing to take care of. She barely needs me there. I do the 16 hours a night on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and then I do 16-hour shifts if any of the nurses call off, which none did this week. So I don't know. She's comfortable. She's happy looking, and when I talk to her, she's still responsive as can be. So I tell her all the time, honey, you need to come back. You're right there on the verge. You're looking at me. You're following me around sometimes. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're doing great. You've got your granddaughter here. You need to come up and be part of it. So, I don't know what else to say. She's doing great. But, I've got the place called Maxim looking for another nurse, but we're just having a hard time finding one to replace her hours. Oh, finally Robert answers us. It's a sin to put it in and a shame to pull it out. Okay. Wow. I don't know if that's a completely, G-rated for family show, but
What's up, Whip?
What's happening, Whip? You said something last time. I didn't see until later that you couldn't get a hold of anybody about the show. You should have just called me. I got my guy that's back in now. Last year, or was it last year or the year before, when I saw you up there and it was hard for me to get in, I actually called you. He was on the outs with them. So this year he's back in. So I got the hookup now. So if you need in, let me know. But the show's already starting too soon from now, I think. What kills me is they're not doing a show in Chicago no more, and that's the one I can drive to. I'm not driving more than 6 hours. It becomes a problem at that point. Gracie nailed it. Just because she has book smarts doesn't mean she has common sense.
That's right.
Ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the truth?
Well, simple little things like this. I'm in the bedroom sleeping and I hear Tracy's alarm going off. I don't have my alarms on. I don't have my computer on and all that stuff to where I'm watching Tracy, but I hear it in the living room and it wakes me up. It's like off in a distance to me in my bedroom, but I still heard it. And it kept going off. So I turned on my computer. Now, by now, it's gone off like 7 times. The computer comes on, and she's sitting there next to Tracy just eating her lunch. I'm like, what the hell? And I try and zoom in on the numbers, and she's at 89. I'm like, whoa, no, you can't leave her sit there this long and all this time for under. So I go to get up, and right as I go to get up, she stands up and starts going over to Tracy. But by that time, it's like 12 times the alarm went off, and she continued to eat. This is unacceptable in my book. You're here 12 hours. You can eat at any time. There's plenty of time, Tracy. Don't bother you for 45 minutes at a time. You can eat. But when them alarms go off, I damn sure expect you to get up and make her comfortable or help her or fix what's wrong. That kind of pissed me off. And instead of going out and yelling at her at that moment right then, I went ahead and laid back down because she's been taken care of at the point. So, but I said something to her, and I do not want to see that thing go off that many times. It kills me. I hear it and I got to run. It's like one of those things. I got to go fix it. It could be something bad. Usually it's just a finger thing falling off her finger because when she coughs, she clenches her hands up. So the finger thing gets turned sideways from hitting her hand down here. And, 7 out of 10 times, that's what it is that she's beeping for. But you can tell I can read that machine like a glove. When it beeps and there's 3 dots and there's no numbers, I know her finger thing is turned. So I just got to go in there and put it on. So what it is if I let it beep once, I look, it's 3 dots. Okay, let it beep a second time. And usually by the second beep, it's either fixed or during the middle of its beeping, it fixes itself. Okay, it's good. So we don't have to bother getting up. other things like, if it says 89, 87, 86, 85, get in there and get her some oxygen back flowing. Something's blocking it up. Usually you have to suction out her trach. And a lot of times when she has thick, output, it fills up the trach mass that's holding against her, chest, and it builds up until she breathes out and she sucks in her bubbles. She breathes out, she sucks in her bubbles. So that's how she don't get oxygen. You gotta, fix that. You gotta suction that out. You gotta clear it out. And I made it to where I put a bib on her, a plastic bib, and then I cut a little U shape in the bottom of the trach mask and put it in there. Well, sometimes the nurses change them and forget to cut a U shape in there, and it fills up the trach mask up. And the reason I put that in there is if she coughs it out and it goes down, it'll make its way out of there and fill the bib up. And you got to empty the bib once an hour or so. You don't have to suction her every 10 minutes, and it's easier on her. It's easier on us. It's a common sense, winner. But, nowhere in her training does it, show how to maintain that. And it's just common sense to me. But don't sit there and let her beat for 12 times in a row. Oh, my God, that pissed me off. But under the rest of our care, she's doing good, and she's always comfortable. I can tell because you walk in there, she's nice and pink. She's not red and flushed, and her hair ain't sticking to her face where she's been hot and sweaty. She's comfortable. She's laying there. She's like, she looks good. She looks comfortable. On the other nurse's shift, she's always either too hot or freezing cold, and it kills me. You got to touch her body at least once every half hour. Her leg, her ankle, her shoulder, her head, feel how she is. If she's too hot, take the second blanket off. If she's still too hot after that, take the sheet down to about halfway because her feet and legs are always colder than her head and shoulders. So we keep the sheet on, her knees down, and leave her air out up top. And then you got to check it in, 20 minutes and every 20 minutes from then. And you make her comfortable, That's all. It's not hard. But I don't know. Oh, geez, we jumped a lot.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, here we were.
Close.
Whip says he hears we'll be back in Chicago next year.
That's what I heard.
Well, then they'll get some of their best YouTubers back. Yeah. Ashley Smith says that's her job. If that alarm's going off, it's for a reason. Exactly. Raheem says, when are you resuming your OFR tour, Rich? What does that mean?
You were starting to go through the fish, and you went to a tank.
Those. Yeah, we've got the videos coming up. Yeah, we got them coming up. Just so much happened in the meantime that that's the content. We just have to video that. So when what it is when I have nothing to video no more. Okay, I've got time to look up each individual fish, refresh myself on it. And boom, put out the end. Because there was one time I said this fish is from South America when it was actually from Africa, and people, oh my God, did they lay into me? So you got to refresh your memory on a lot of this stuff. Christopher Junkin says, oh my gosh, I'm late and I get to roll in and be greeted by these three handsome studs. Did I stumble into a fish tube calendar shoot or what? Happy day indeed. Wow.
Jeez.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Murray Dean says that would piss me off too. Tracy says, I would have been mad too. That's unacceptable. She needs to be on top. Tracy at all times. Tracy should be her priority. Exactly. I mean, I get it, it's your lunch, but you don't have, in nursing, you don't get, okay, from 12 to 12:30, all you patients, nothing going wrong. I'm eating. You don't get that. You eat in between, And there's only one patient here.
Or whenever Rich makes fajitas.
Well, then she's in the kitchen eating. But the difference is, when she's here 12 hours, she doesn't do the laundry. She doesn't get Tracy out of bed. She doesn't give Tracy a sponge bath, you know, a bed bath. She doesn't wash Tracy's hair.
She should.
That's what the other nurse does during the daytime. And we all have to take up the slack of, you know, wondering why Tracy smells like pee at the end of her shift. You know, now we have to come in, whether it's me or any one of the other nurses working after her, we have to now give Tracy a bed bath because she smells like pee. You know, is it the sheet? Is it Tracy's skin? What is it? You know, was her hair down and it soaked up because you let it leak into her back? We don't know. So you have to give her a whole bed bath and make her smell pretty again. You know, you got to keep her smelling pretty, period. So her being the way she is makes it harder on the rest of us. Whips World says they got to get those new pond tanks put in place.
Right.
He mentioned in a previous video that there are just too many tripping hazards in the fish room right now. Coming from a blind guy, this is true. I have kicked my teeth. I have kicked my feet on so many things that aren't supposed to be there. See, here's the thing: continuity, okay, is perfect for a blind guy. I know I can walk in at this corner. I can turn. I can walk through there, and I don't have to watch my feet. I'm looking at the fish, and bang, I kick a floor jack that somebody left sitting out. Oh, you know, it's just, oh my God, where did that? Why is that there? You know, it kills me. So, you know, when there's somebody blind around, you can't leave hazards on the floor.
It's all part of the Three Amigos, the Three Stooges. Depends on how you.
Well, it goes back to caring. If you people don't give a shit about me, then load the floor up with floor jacks, okay?
I just sprinkle sharp gravel all over.
Oh my God. I bet you do. I wonder where that gravel comes from all the time. I wonder. He's like, oh, don't feed me today. Here's some gravel for you.
Oh, that beautiful flint gravel that people like to put in their aquariums, the cars, the fish up there.
Bob Taylor says, you have tact that I lack, Rich. Not really. It's just a matter of how far can you push me before I let loose. And, you know, Reaper will tell you, I tell everybody, even the guy that hit my son one time. I you know, wait, you hit my son, you know? And he's like, yeah, I hit your son. I'm like, no, you didn't hit my son. You're saying that, right? No, I hit your son. I'm like, dude, I mean, I clearly made it clear and evident that you should tell me right now you did not hit my son. That's, you know, I'm trying to have as much restraint as possible and make things clear, you know, and I give a lot of people, you know, someone in the bar, something pushes me out, yo, don't do that, you know. I give them all 3 warnings. On the 3rd warning, bam, they're down. You know, I told you, you didn't listen, but I try and have tact, but, you know, sometimes it's hard. Hello? Hello? Yeah. You're on the live stream. Can I help you? Who are you? No, but, you know, don't call here and tell me what to do. I don't know what to tell you, but about what? The bloke that I what? Okay, you're saying I say that every week. Well, if that bothers you, I'm sorry. It's a reference, brother. What? Don't call during live stream. It's very untactful. Okay, I will try and refrain, but you know I can't be answering the phone during live stream. Now everybody's here's your call, and you know you yelling at me, and you know I don't know who you are that you can actually yell at me, but you know you could have sent me in. Well, if you're a fan, you could have sent me a nice text and reminded me that I bring that up too much, and I wouldn't bring it up no more. Alrighty. Take care. Peace. Somebody with a +44 area code says he works for Domino's. I don't know. Yelling at me that I bring that story up too much.
What story?
The story where the guy hit my son.
Oh.
He says I bring that up every week. No, I don't, but whatever. You know, you try and make everybody happy, and there's a few people out there that are just, I mean, he was yelling at me. Wow. Yeah. Talking about tact. Here you go, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
I deal with it. You know, people are like, Rich, you bring up too much about, you know, the naysayers on YouTube. Well, you know what? I get it every week, and 3 times a week I get it. So when I talk to you once a week, I may bring it up, or I may bring it up in a video because I deal with it constantly. So when you guys hear it, it's once every once in a while, and you guys act like I bring it up all the time. I deal with it all the time.
On top
You know?
of that, you act like you know what's going on when there's probably 3 different stories that you're all piling together.
Yeah.
4 maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. He's mad about something. Maybe his wife left him or his boyfriend left him. I don't know. All I know is that wasn't necessary.
Neither of them were.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, she jumped again.
How you always doing that?
Dude, I just hit down on, no, I hit down and then it either goes down or it jumps. I never know when it's going to happen. And the keyboard, down there on the keyboard works way better than the mouse scrolling because it jumps way more on that. So, David Smith says, hang up on the quack. Delamax says +44 is from the UK. He sounded like from the UK. British.
Go up one more.
Very British.
Right there. Catfish cave.
Was it Adele?
Was
No.
it Adele?
No. No. Tyler Kerr says, get him, Rich. Rich, you're get him. Rich gets them. Fuck them. They're not a fan. Let them talk. People be crazy. Okay.
Oh, I was watching a thing the other day. It was comedians taking on hecklers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, boy. The hecklers get put in their place.
Yeah. That's what I got to learn to do instead of getting mad about it and getting hurt about it. Because people are like, you know, I get messages like, hey, you fat fuck, why don't you lose weight? You know, blah, blah, blah. You're no help to anybody and you're disgusting on air. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what did I do to you? You know?
No, then you turn around and ask them, say, well, we seem to have the same problem. What are you doing about yours? Maybe you can help me with mine.
No.
I usually
Shauna says, Rich, you don't have to refrain from saying anything you want on your live stream.
Uh,
Tell whoever called to shut the hell up and get over it. Ashley Smith says, oh, Lord, I didn't know you could actually complain just calling you.
I don't know how you got through, man. The phone should be on Tracy right now.
Whips World says, drama just searches Rich out. It does. It seems like it. And I'm over here trying to help everybody out, be the nicest guy, try and, you know, still hold my head above water and you know, complete adversity. I mean, I try so hard. But every once in a while, you know, there's that one person that'll just get your goat and you just lose it, you know. And you don't want me to, I don't want me to go there. Don't push me to that. You know, I don't know. These people that now anymore, I'm pretty much just deleting the ignorant text and just going on and knowing that, you know, you're not hurting me now. It used to really get to me so bad. And now I talk it over with Josh and he laughs about it. You know, I tell other people, they laugh about it. So I don't tell the people online no more. So that you don't have that. When people were calling me, you know, or texting me saying, you know, stop whining on the videos.
Doopy, I should have put it on speaker.
I should have. I really should have. I didn't even think about that. Ashley Smith says, I've never heard that story before, and I'm always here. Okay. OBG Foster says, I didn't remember that story. Lawrence Cortot says, Doompi. Oh, he's saying something in Dutch. I don't always read Dutch, okay? But when I do, I have a Dos Equis in my hand. Doom 5, people are watching you, Rich. Jennifer Bean says, I never heard you say that story, Rich. Not once, Big Rich. Okay. Gracie says, if he offended you on your stories, then he can leave. You're not making him stay here. Absolutely. Fish Fan Link says, oh, I don't have to read that. That's like a bot. Where's it at?
I've been waiting for that one.
Right there.
Okay. Sebastian says, Big Rich, can you please tell the story of the guy hitting your kid again? I want that man who called you to hear it again clearly. Tell it slowly this time. I can't be answering the calls, guys. You guys can't. It's the same guy. You can't be calling me during the live stream. It's just bad form for me to answer calls. I already asked him not to call during the live stream.
That guy on the phone is just sorry. He didn't got no story.
Hey, you know when I called the other day, I forgot it was 5 after 5 or
Live
5
stream.
after 6, and you were on live, and you answered. But I was supposed to be here, and I did. I showed up. Remember, I came in like 7:25. I had to bring the truck back or something. Everybody thought I ran out of gas.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember.
But
Bring up the gas. We remember. Reaper.
then I'm like, Rich, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh shit. You're like, yeah, we're on the live stream, but
We're waiting for
oh,
you.
I didn't know it was that late. I wouldn't have called you. I don't call during live stream. I know better even. I mean,
It happens.
if I call during live stream, it's important. It's
Or you just plain forgot because you just don't.
but
All right. Let's get back to this. Sebastian, that's funny as hell.
That was good. That is.
Tyler says, I was always told, people's opinion like buttholes, everyone has one, and no one wants to hear from them. Prince Vino, hi, how you doing? I ain't seen from you in a while. I cannot figure out why she won't let me register at Aquarama for our anniversary. We certainly don't need any more dishes or clothes, but I would really love some more fish equipment. Not fair. Who's that?
yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm lost.
Have you ever heard of Aquarama?
It sounds like an aquarium.
Well, I'm sure it's a show,
Yeah, it's got to be a show.
but I've never heard of it. So it probably ain't near me, so that's why I didn't hear of it. But
Well, he just wants to register there for his anniversary instead of.
you know what? I don't see any of the shows stopping people from registering there because you have to pay for a booth or a spot. And if you want to register, more power to you. The venue makes more money,
Right.
you know. And if you want to go there just to, sit there and say hi to all the people that are fellow fish lovers, you can do that. It's your money. Spend it how you want. You don't actually have to be a fish store owner or a dealer of some sort. You could go there as a complete, hey, I want to rent a booth, boom, boom, boom. And then you can put a sign there. Step up and take a picture. I'm just a fan, And you can, if you want to pay the $250 for the booth, you can do that. You don't have to be a vendor or a store owner or anything like that. You don't have to have anything for sale. So I don't see why they would not let him do that.
Oh, if I read that right, he's talking about his wife not wanting him to shop at Aquarama for the anniversary.
Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense.
That's what
Okay.
So if you don't need any more dishes or clothes, I'd like some more fish equipment.
Well,
okay.
Prince Vino, here's the trick. I've been married for a long time, and here's the trick. Just tell her, no more nookie. And now, see, it's harder for you to hold out than it is for her. But if you hold out long enough, she'll come a-begging, okay? She'll be more agreeable. She'll be more nicer to you. I'm talking out my ass. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I know there was a commercial while you were talking, so we got lucky on that one.
Okay, I got to see what this deleted message is.
Yeah.
It makes me so,
Uh,
go to channel, but using channel, hide user. No. I just want to see what it is. Oh, okay. I'm jealous. I'm live on soil straight sand. I would love to be able to do. Oh, yeah. Christopher Junkin, to do a pond in straight sand, you're going to have to do basically a pool. You're going to have to dig a hole and line it with cement, and then fill the sand back up to the cement, and then cover the inside of the cement with 2-part epoxy. Then fill it up as your pond. That's the only way to do it in sand, brother. I'm sorry, but it's a little more expensive. Or you could use a liner inside the cement at that point. It doesn't matter, liner or 2-part epoxy. But you have to have the walls there and the cement or the sand, backfilled to it.
At the very least, about 10 inches of compacted clay.
Well, all he has is sand there.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. You'd have to import the clay.
Ah,
It's actually cheaper to line it.
okay. Doing this now. Pull this way. Yes. Okay. David Smith says, yeah, that's good advice. Learn how to deal with hecklers. Jimmy Carr is great at it. Man, Jimmy Carr turns up right around every time on like their mother or something. It was so funny. I love that man. He's so funny. You don't realize he's coming up with a jab at you because he's telling the story. A heckler says, something simple like, why are you like this or this or that, and he comes out and he starts telling the story and it ends with, because I spent the night with your mother, something like that. And it's whoa, that came out of nowhere. Holy shit, this guy's funny, He's great. I like him. Oh, Marie Dean says, sorry, Christopher, didn't mean to delete your message. That's okay.
Oops. Sharpen your wrench.
Jeez.
Keep it on. No,
Even Lawrence Courthought says, Rich, please tell the story of the guy Bush. I've never heard of that. Well, you know what? You've been on the live stream, twice in the last year? And maybe that's when I bring it up. I never bring it up any other time. Just when you're here and we're talking old stories. That's one that comes up,
No, you did do it one other time.
I did?
Yeah, because I was watching.
Okay. Smack me. What the hell? See what it gets you having a best friend? And I wasn't telling the story. I was referring to it, That's all. Roughneck woman. She says, we true of our family. What would... I don't know what that is. What would Jesus? I don't know. I don't know what WWG 1GA means. You mess with Dopar, you mess with all of us. Okay. Mess with one of us, you mess with us all, but it don't match up.
Not good at alphabet soup, sorry.
Yeah, I mean.
Lorenz says, I only heard the story of Will Starr and Bigfoot. But see, you haven't heard the story of when Will Starr got Bigfoot pregnant. I'll tell that story later. Tyler says, if you could have one record you don't own, what would that be? Oh, I was thinking record like Guinness Book of World Records, YouTube, story record.
Go with Guinness.
Geez, there's so many in either genre. The one who would make me happiest, best dad ever. Period.
Yeah.
That would make me the happiest.
That's impossible.
That's a record,
Biggest arapaima ever. That would
largest arapaima on record. That would be a great one. What else?
most teeth marks.
Most horsepower in a grocery getter. As far as records, sheesh. I've got the Gods signed album. Oh, I would love to have any album from Zeppelin signed by Zeppelin. I would love that. That's a record. I would like to have stated that I dated Ann Wilson from Heart back in the day. I don't have that. you know. I was so in love with her. Her singing was amazing, you know. And we're talking to a roadie from the band. He was a roadie for, Heart back in the day.
Well, I wasn't really roadie for them.
What?
We had the same business manager for a while. The band I worked for was same business manager as them. We shared road equipment.
Well, that's like saying, that's almost like I'm saying I'm famous because I was on the same stage that Kiss played on. At the Akron Agora, we were backstage and all the bands signed and there was a big thing of Kiss on the wall where they all signed their name next to it.
Yeah, but did you actually interact with them and party
No.
with them? And,
No.
Well,
But that's what I'm saying.
That's the difference.
Oh, so you interacted with Ann and Nancy Wilson
Yeah.
from Heart? Okay.
I mean, we had to.
Yo! I was just saying.
Okay. No,
Calm down. We don't want no nuclears, fusion going on
back
here.
off and let me explain. No,
See-
we had to share equipment. So the rental equipment stayed at the bar.
Okay.
They played at this bar on Friday and we played at this bar. And then we just switch places with our personal equipment. Don't have to move all the
Right.
crap,
Yeah.
And so it's all handled by the business manager.
Damn it. Stop laughing at me, Reaper. It jumps. I can't stop it.
Right there.
Where?
You're at. No, maybe not.
Jens Carlson says, drunk as a skunk. You guys drunk?
I'm not even drinking.
You're drinking water?
I'm
You're drinking
drinking
Pepsi. She must be referring to me. I'm not. Okay, I'm drunk.
Nope, not even close.
That's cool.
No, but his name is the drinking word.
His name is the drinking word.
His nickname.
Oh yeah, okay. That's where you were right there.
You sure?
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
All right. Jason Walker says,
Yeah.
going sturgeon fishing next week, possible 10-foot at Snake River. Just do me a favor, brother. Release them live and, have your fun and take mucho pictures,
Enjoy the Snake River. It's beautiful country.
Is it?
Yeah. Southeastern Oregon, Idaho, Washington. Canyon.
Zion, the lion says,
It's nice.
clay can permeate on top
Canyon
of sand.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Lawrence Corthoff says, I've never seen a drunk skunk. Well, that's what they refer to you when you get drunk, you pass out, you fart all night. Raheem says, Rich, why don't you make saltwater pond like Paul has? I've got enough problems in my life, Raheem.
Really?
I'm sorry. The biggest problem with saltwater, not the equipment, I've got all that. Not doing it, I've done it before. It's the solid water changes. Now, the problem is I don't have a 10,000 gallon spare tank that I can fill up with and mix salt with and get it to the right, salinity to do a big water change on this, and it's a problem because you have to do water changes, but on a huge pond, you're going to have huge, equipment and huge water change, things. And I just don't have that. Plus the bags of salt for a big salt thing. So you're talking, $300 every time you change the water or do a water change, which is 25% or so. So it wasn't in our books because to me, I'm not rescuing saltwater as much and they don't get out of that out of hand that big, that much. And when somebody does have a shark that gets too big, they can call aquarium, zoo and all that, and they will take them. They don't take, freshwater fish that are so abundant it's ridiculous, like pacu, plecos and stuff like that, iridescent sharks.
What's your fortune?
So that you can't give them to the zoos no more and the public aquariums. So there is no problem with that with saltwater. We still rescue saltwater, but with all of our connects, we call and we find a place for it before we pick it up. We do the pickup and then we take it to the zoo or they come and pick it up. Just like that tessellata eel from Legacy. What was that thing? 4 foot or something like that? Maybe 5 foot? I don't remember. But we picked it up the night before, kept it one night, and then took it to the Legacy the next day. We still rescue saltwater occasionally. There's not a need for it as much as there is freshwater. So that's why we've never ventured into it.
had a saltwater pond like that, I wouldn't have time for anything else.
Yeah.
That's
Really.
basically what it is.
He says, Reaper, I just wanted to say I'm a huge fan. I keep missing the live streams you're on, but just wanted to say thank you. That's awful nice.
Thank you.
It's been a while since Reaper's been on a live stream, other than recently.
Yeah, I showed up the other day. I'm like, excuse me, can I help you? He's like, it's me, Reaper, your best friend.
Yeah, I remember you. How's your side doing?
Loren says, I don't want to see Will start getting Bigfoot pregnant, but it could be a great True Likes movie for some people. You know, every time I'm cruising the internet, and sometimes you'll see, you know, all of a sudden you'll hear, and then it'll pan up to Bigfoot leaning against a tree in like a bikini, and she starts, you know, dancing around the tree like a pole. I'll send that straight to Will Star.
That's not the kind of dreams we want to talk about, Rich. Whoa.
Tyler says, I met the record like vinyl. Yes, Led Zeppelin was one of the best band ever. Rest in peace, Robert Page. He hasn't died. They're actually coming in tour. They're Geezer tour. It's coming on. They're coming in tour now. Jimmy Page. I'm sorry, Robert Page, John Paul Jones, and Robert Plant. Okay. You've got Robert and then Page. So there's Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and John Paul Jones coming in concert. So the only one that died was John Paul Jones, or I'm sorry, John Bonham, the drummer.
Right.
He'd been gone.
But his son took over, I thought.
Jason Bonham took over drumming for him and this and that, and then they stopped touring. And now, because of all these other bands, you know, Scorpions, Motley Crue, you know, Rat come out of the cellar. I mean, literally out of the cellar. I haven't heard from them in forever, you know. And all these bands are coming back making the Geezer tours. Well, Zeppelin decided to do it. And I can't wait, you know. The problem is, I don't want to, but I want to. I want to because I never got to see Zeppelin live. My greatest band ever. Loved them, you know. But all these other bands, you see Motley Crue, and Vince Neil can't even keep up with his own words.
Can't even sing anymore.
Can't even. He puts in every third word to keep the rhythm going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just like you're letting your heroes. You're seeing them as decrepit and they can't do their job. In other words, to me, the band I was in, Third Degree, that played copies all them years, we did a better job playing your song than you can now. You know what I'm saying? And that kills me. That was one of, you know, Motley Crue was like the greatest of all time. You know, those guys can get the women. Those guys rock. Those guys, you know, they rule. And now, you know, you got a fat old singer that just can't keep up, and he's making a mockery of rock right now. And they're just doing it for the money. And then they threw out, you know, Mick Mars, one of the greatest guitarists of all times, and they're trying to go on with Johnny Five, and I don't want to see them in concert, you know, at all. Johnny Five can play guitar, I guess. He's good, but I want to see Mick Mars up there. That man's your age, Jerry, and they prop him up on stage and he plays.
One of the ugliest things I ever saw was Jim Dandy and the Ruby Star Band.
Oh, really?
And that damn guy's up there strutting with a gut that hangs like this with no shirt on. Go, Jim Dandy, go!
Oh, no. He just ruined another.
My God.
I can't. I won't. I'll never be able to listen to that song again without thinking of that big gut now.
That was gross.
It's just ruining me.
So gross.
Gracie says, I love Heart. I've seen them in concert a few times, front row once. You know what? I actually saw.
Must be from around here then.
Well,
front row was that old theater that had the turning stage, I think.
Well, everybody's front row if they're front row.
No, the name of a theater.
Okay.
Or a company.
So anyways, what was I saying? Oh, Heart. Yeah, see now there's few bands out there. Rush is one of them. Heart's another one. I'm going to give you that. That I don't care when you listen to them live or in their studio, they sound like the original song. They don't try and change it. They don't change the tempo. They don't change the vocals. They don't change, how long they hold on to tremolo here and then cut the words out here, like David Lee Roth doing. And when he does his Van Halen tribute, stuff, and he can't sing no more. I mean, he can sing, but he's ruining all the old songs. They're not the same tempo. They're not the same. It was I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by. It was a nice little boogie woogie type beat, and now he's like, yeah, I'm your ice cream man. I'm passing by. It just sucks. It's not the same.
That's because he's a gigolo.
Self-proclaimed. But anyways, Heart is one of them. Now, I saw a show
Plays what you pay for.
just recently where Anne was in a wheelchair. She's a little bit bigger. She was in a wheelchair, and she sang the show. And she did Dreamboat Annie. She did Barracuda, just like she did in the 70s. I mean, like, what an amazing voice. I would go see Heart now, and I don't care what they look like. They put out the show like they did in the 70s, and it's amazing to see this lady still with that same talent she had back then, Oh, my God. She's great. Long tongue Johnny says, what's the drinking word? I'm sorry, it's hard for me to read, but I'll get it right.
Green man, Reaper.
Reaper is a drinking word. Here you go. Stop laughing at me, Reaper. I'm dealing with adversity here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit, how far back did it jump?
How big it looks like.
A big jump.
It is. No. Keep going. Right there.
Wow. Jens Carlson says, fight, which is funny because in a band I was in, Dirty Tricks, one of our originals was called Fight. And it was like, geez, I remember. Something like, there I was, across the sea, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It was a long time ago, and that was, the singer's original at that point. But that was an original we had done back in late 80s, early 90s. Tyler says, and Craig, you read my mind, Animals album or Dark Side of the Moon. See, now I have both those albums.
Oh, yeah.
Neither one of them are signed. I have them, though.
Have
You have to have those albums.
Everything, including, even stuff they did in movies, this and that. I love Floyd. That's my favorite group. Followed by Led Zeppelin, which I did see live. 75, 76, somewhere. It was in Oakland, California.
Good question about
When I saw Floyd at the stadium downtown here in Cleveland, most amazing concert, and Tracy got pregnant that night. No, wait. I'm sorry. I'm remembering things wrong. Was it Floyd or Eagles? No, it was Pink Floyd concert that she got pregnant to that night. Yes.
Eagles was the very first concert I ever went to.
Dude, they are so great live.
Mm-hmm.
They're another one. So much talent. So much amazing.
When they came out with their Desperado album, that Desperado tour.
I'm not forgetting about you. I'm reading. I'm reading posts here. See, a lot of people have done it. Long Tongue Johnny says, my Fahaka puffer has been with my clown loaches for almost a year. Is it a matter of time before the puffer bites the loaches? Yes. I've seen Fahaka puffers especially, you are looking at death. You are looking at destruction. It's going to happen, and you're going to be crying. If I would get that Fahaka puffer out of there. Now, my boo puffers will have a much better chance at going in a community tank. Fahaka puffer usually kills anything that moves. All of our Fahakas we have to have in a tank by themselves. So, I'm sorry you're in that situation, but take it from me. Please move the Fahaka. Otherwise, you're going to wake up and all your clown loaches will be dead, or 90% of them.
He's going to get them, at least one.
Oh no! If he starts on one, he's going to keep going until you wake up and see the tank. He's going to get.
Well, the Fahaka is more of an ambush rather than a hunter.
No, I'm sorry, Jerry. I've never contradicted you before.
No, I mean, I would say that to my understanding.
Oh no,
I have never personally kept a Fahaka. So
I have many, and this is why I will only put them in a tank by themselves.
Yeah, I know that.
Because people are like, "Oh, look, watch my Fahaka." You put a clam in, he goes straight to it. You put in a worm, he goes straight to it. They put in a mouse, he goes straight to it and just shreds it. They put in this long centipede from Africa with the two big things on the front, and he just destroys it. You put in any fish, and he destroys them. They are like, what are you doing in my water? Bam, and they are destructive as can be. The fact that he's lived this long means he brought them up with these fish, and it's not going to last. I'm sorry. This is something I am completely sure about. It won't last. Now, you've gotten lucky. Count your blessing and put him in a tank by himself and keep all your clown loaches, Otherwise, you're going to be calling us and letting us know that, he took out 1 or 10 of your clown loaches overnight. And you'll be like, I don't understand. I'm going to say, I told you. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. It's a great thing to see him getting along with things, but it's not going to last. Trust me.
Right now, he just considers them part of his environment. So.
Well, he's probably young and growing up, and he's not hungry.
Yeah.
There will be that one day that he will be hungry. He's grown more than you're feeding him, or whatever. Yeah.
Well, that's feeding. It's it's all up to you and the fish.
Matt LeMay says,
"Oh, go ahead."
Legacy loves y'all's donations. Hope so.
Thank you.
Anime Lifestyle says, so how good did Paul do help moving the fish? He got soaking wet. He helped out a lot. He was right there doing what we needed done. He was in it. He wasn't no baby by no means. I mean, he's a great fish person. He's right there in the midst of it. Raheem says, yeah, I understand, buddy, but what about Slow Joe? He has some saltwater tanks. He's one of our connects when saltwater comes in. If it's something huge, Joe's biggest tank is 1,000 gallon. If it's something huge, like, we got in this grouper one time, and he was 2.5 foot. He was big. And I was like, no, we're not giving him to Joe because, he's only got a 1,000 gallon tank, blah, blah, blah. So we took him to a public aquarium. But a lot of things go to Joe because, hey, you've got all that salt water, you need this or that. A lot of saltwater fish come in small that we can give out to many of our friends, and that's what we do. We help out the people that's helped us first, then we help out strangers, and then last we put it up for sale if we got no one to take it, like our yard sale. That's stuff left over, maybe we got 200 heaters now. And we've given out heaters to everybody and done this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, our fall, our spring sale, we get rid of a bunch of stuff that we just can't have the room for to, keep around. And my son calls me a hoarder. But yet I'm still getting rid of everything I can. Now, see, Christopher is saying He had a Fahaka that stayed with him, 13 inches, lived his entire life with fish, no problem. He says, if they are peaceful, they tend to stay that way. You can't really say that, Christopher. You're overstepping your bounds a little bit because you had one fish that happened to that. Just like I had 3 kids that all turned out 6 foot. But what if my 4th kid turns out 7'4" and he's a basketball star? It's an anomaly. It's not on the 90% of everything says that, it's going to be like this. So the whole time he's keeping that fish in with his fish, it is, big clown loaches are big money. You probably had him in with a bunch of, community fish that you didn't really care that much about. Oh, yeah, he killed a gourami that cost me $3. You might not care that much, but clown loaches, when they're like 6 inches, they're like $250, $300 a piece. So I'm just saying, tread caution to the wind and find him a place of his own and never have to worry about that. That's all I'm saying.
What it boils down to, it's all how much you want to risk it.
James McNally says, hey, Big Rich, I was wondering where you got your cichlids from. Were they rescued or bought? Every one of them was rescued. They started off, we put, in that 1,800-gallon tank, probably maybe 40 at the time. And then the next time we got cichlids in, we put in there and blah, blah, blah. Now we're getting to the point to where we don't want to put no more yellow labs in there. They try and take over in there. We're not putting in no more of this or that. We're only putting in certain cichlids into the 1,800 so that they take over it and be a better color. You don't want to end up with a whole tank full of yellow labs because they're eating all the babies of other species. You know what I'm saying? So. Friends, are you drunk tonight? Because if I had to watch Debbie Does Dallas
or
Wilpsart Does Bigfoot, I don't know what to choose. I think I'll go to church. That's hilarious. That's awesome. Oh my God. Van LeMay says Zeppelin has been playing it since Kennedy Center honors when Hart did the tribute to them. Oh, which was an amazing show. It touched all 3 of them so much they started planning a comeback concert and it became a tour. I understand that 100%.
That was a beautiful tribute.
Tyler Kerr says, a bunch of stuff. But then he goes, by the way, I like Van Halen, not Van Hagar. I'll tell you what, Van Hagar came out with a few really great songs. But if you were to put Sammy Hagar in the lineup playing Van Halen songs and then David Lee Roth in the lineup playing Van Halen songs, I would have to go with Sammy Hagar because he still has it. He still can belt them out, and they sound like they are on the radio. He does a good job. David Lee Roth, he's washed up. He can't keep the same, tone. He don't keep the right, timing at all. So, I do love my old Van Halen. That was amazing. Running with the Devil, one of my favorite songs, it shaped my young, psyche. And, all these songs, Too Young to Fall in Love, Dr. Feelgood, all these great songs, and I was totally against Sammy Hagar filling in, thinking he's going to try and do Van Halen songs, and I didn't really like his voice for it. But then they did their own songs and made new songs, and some of them came out absolutely phenomenal. Humans Beings, oh my God, it's amazing. So there's a lot of songs that he's got credit for, but yes, I still like Van Halen better than Van Hagar. But if I was to go watch them both in concert now with either singer, I would have to go with Van Hagar now because David Lee Roth just don't have it no more. And, I used to love the man. Now all I see is a cocky prick. He's not cool at all. I watch everything I can about him, and he just keeps just turning me off, So I love his old stuff when he was a walking wet dream to women. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And he played the role. He did it awesome, he just can't do it now, and he's still trying. And you know, give up, Dave. Give up. Yeah. Gracie says, I seen Motley Crue when they were touring with Ozzy Osbourne back in the Shout at the Devil tour and Bark at the Moon tour. It was awesome. Seen them in Cleveland. That's where Motley Crue almost showed up Ozzy Osbourne. They were doing so good, you know. And they went after that and you know, did their own thing, and they were headlining the shows. That's how good they were back then. Jess Carlson, does Jerry dance or Reaper?
I don't know what to.
Do you dance?
Do I dance?
Yeah.
I used to.
So you go on a date with some other woman, you'll take her out, you'll go dancing with her?
It's possible. Depends on how the evening turns out. Yeah.
Okay. So it ain't just Indian war dances.
No, it's not just Indian war.
So it don't need to rain soon before you'll dance.
I can do the Eagles dance, yeah, but
And you, no dancing, huh?
Never.
Okay. Matt LeMay says, I saw Giant 5 with Rob Zombie. The man is a guitarist way above what he's doing with Motley Crue. Vince should call it quits. Absolutely. Now, I will give you that. John 5 is a great guitarist. I don't like... He's trying to play Van Halen, and he's doing okay. I mean, okay. But he comes in with his look and stuff like that. He's just not... He just don't fit the band. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come in and play their songs, you know, try and be like Eddie, try and be Eddie and take over Eddie's parts. If not, make it your own parts. Don't be like Eddie and make it your own and be the new Motley Crue. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's where I stand with that. Gracie says, yes, Reaper, I'm from Ohio. I still live here.
Yeah,
You were right.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to take off here. I got to go.
Oh, yeah, he had to leave at 7:30.
Right, but John just texted me.
What?
So I got to go put Chomper away.
Is he here?
No.
He was supposed to stop in and say hi to everybody.
Well, I guess he's not, and he might not, because he just asked me if I would, before I leave, put him away for him.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to go do that real quick.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, no problem. Later, everybody. Hey, Jerry, I'm going to see her moving over.
yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Later, dude, and I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right,
already got
still
one
gonna try
marked.
to move that tank.
I'm waiting to hear from John if we're going to move that tank.
Oh, yeah, just show up because we don't know if everyone else is showing up.
Right.
I'd rather have people here and do nothing than...
Well, I already got Mark and me, and I already alerted John, so.
All right,
Okay.
we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Why do you call him Jean? Why ain't it John?
J-A-W-N.
John. You go Jean. With
John.
like
Dawn,
an S-C-H. Jean.
Same as Dawn, put a J. John.
Right. Now you're saying it right.
Later, man.
See ya. Gee. Holy crap, it really jumped.
I had no idea you were that far back.
Dude, I can't believe it jumped this far.
Oh, we didn't miss any super chats.
No? Okay. Now we're back to Matt saying Rob Zombie. Okay.
Oh, that's so far away.
Jens Carlson said Rush. You know, that's three people in a... Here, I can move in now. Three people in a band that are so talented that it sounds like there's 12 people playing. Amazing. I mean, they were amazing. I don't care what anybody says. I am a dedicated Rush fan, and I used to have their signature down. You remember one of their albums had the Rush signature, and I had this one apartment, and we used to take the saying where we took a needle, syringe, and we'd write on the wall, Rush, and we'd write it out just the way it was in water, and it looked perfect, just like their thing, and that was our thing, I was 17, 18, 8, 19, I don't know, but we thought that was cool. We could sign their signature. Tyler Curtis says, you sing better than Sam Hickok. Come on now. You never heard me sing. Matt LeMay says, after Theater of Pain, Motley Crue has not been who they used to, where they ruled the world. Geddy Lee and Rush, you don't need to record anything. The man can sound good live. He sounds just like his albums live. And even their best albums are live albums. Like the 2112. Holy shit, that album's amazing. You ever heard of La Villa Stringato live? Alex Lifeson will blow your mind away. The noises, the way they go so quiet, and they have these little noises and the reverb. And holy shit, that's amazing. Not to mention 2112. Jesus Christ, it's crazy. You had to be back in the 80s, getting high and listening to Rush to truly appreciate them. Holy shit. This stereo was out, so you had stereo separation, and it was just like dun, 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 dun. It was amazing.
Make me regret moving over.
I'm not going backhand you, old man. It's I.
Now the Reapers left to release our drinking award.
No, it's still Reaper.
I'll Reaper, everybody.
Karen Fletcher says, it's all nice to see the three amigos. What's the plan for the Mexican musk turtle in the move around? Okay, we obviously can't put them back in the pond. So what we did was we took the jack koi out of the back white tub, put them out into and we didn't get this on video, put them into the Tracy pond. And then we put the Mexican musk turtle in that, what was it, 3 foot by 3 foot? Or is it 4? Is it 4 foot by 4 foot or 3 foot by 3 foot? 4 by 4? It's a 4 foot by 4 foot tub. Now he's in there for his own protection until we get the new 3,500 gallon tank up and running. He's going back in there where he was with the Pacus. Matt LeMay says all those people should have retired in their prime. And Wilson's still a badass guitarist. No, that's Nancy. Ann's the singer.
Well, Nan can play. She taught me how to tune my 12 string.
Okay, the brown-haired girl.
Both of them
Ann.
play.
Ann is the brown-haired girl.
Right.
Nancy is the guitarist, the blonde-haired girl.
Right.
Okay.
But they both play. Like when they were doing bar gigs.
I guess what they say. Ann Wilson is still a badass guitarist. Lita Ford is still a badass. Well, it's Nancy Wilson is still a badass guitarist.
Yeah.
Craig's Catfish Cave. Rich, do you add fresh water to your system, or does filters take care of everything? No. We have a garden hose of fresh water going into our pool pond daily, nonstop running. That's why our water bill's so high. And we have a machine, a doser, that puts in prime as it goes all day long. So we have a constant, steady influx of fresh water. That's why we never have to do water changes. We have filtration on it and we have plants on it. Within the three, we don't have to do water changes on most of our system. We have to do water changes on all the quarantine tanks and any tank we set up outside, like the koi tub right now that's out there. We have to do water changes on that. They're not on our main system. Oh my God. Lorenzo Cortez says the last band I went to was Steven Seagal's. Steve and Seagulls. Steven Seagal. Never heard of him. That's funny. That's a great nameplay.
He's talking about Steven Seagal.
No, that's a movie. The last band he went to was Steve and Seagulls. That's the band he saw. So they made their name a play on Steven Seagal.
Okay. I thought Steven Seagal was trying to be a musician too. I mean, he's failed.
You know, that may be. It's possible.
He's failed at everything else.
He's failed at everything else. That's possible. He does play guitar. It's possible that he went and saw Steven Seagal's, but I don't know.
Good figure. He's a good actor. But he's a one-dimensional actor.
I know. He has this thing about him. When he moves his arms, 10 people fall. I love that.
It's his breath.
It's his breath. Marie Dean says, my first concert was Kiss. Welcome to rock and roll. At the Richfield Coliseum. I love that place. During a blizzard. Yes, I've been there many times. All the hills going up and down 303 to get to the Richfield Coliseum. That was an best place ever to have a concert. The best sound, the best area. There were so many people. You know, it was like I still can't get over how great a time I had at Richfield Coliseum. I cried when they closed it down and they never reopened it. And, you know, now you've got Blossom. And the sound sucks. You're outside. You don't feel that bass. You know, you're on the hillside. And, you know, it's just, The Richfield Coliseum was the place to go. Man, you go in there and the bands were like, thud, thud. You know, you felt that bass. It was indoors, you know. It was an amazing place. I loved that place. I can't believe, you know, they never reopened it. That was amazing. The parking was all the way around the whole building. It was a square building, and you go in there, and you have to remember your seating, because if you go out and you start walking around to get to like a food court or something, you're walking around and there's bathrooms every so many, there's food courts every so many, and then it all looks the same all the way around the whole thing. You come in and you're like, wow, I was on that side of the stage. Shit, you have to go back out and walk for a long time. Then you have to go in and look. Oh, I'm still not there. I'm on the end of the... Okay, now I go back in, go all the way down. You come in, you're like, okay, now I'm on the right side of the stage. Where's my seat? You know? Matt LeMay says, don't even get me started on the Eagles. I've seen them multiple times. Amazing concert every time. And then I saw the modern day version with Vince Gill. I did not see that.
Right, he wants to know about the fajita puffer and the globe tank. That wasn't a fajita for Haka.
That was a Stars and Stripe puffer. And we found him a home because, yeah, we had to find him a home because he was the only one in that tank because you couldn't put him in with nothing. And he's not as mean as a Fahaka.
I thought that was a Goliath Congo puffer.
Congo puffer, yeah. It's called a Stars and Stripes, but it's also known as, you know, Congo puffer.
Congo, yeah.
But it was a Stars and Stripes puffer, and we couldn't keep it in with nothing.
No.
We found it at home, and then we turned the tank back into a goldfish tank.
It was fun to have a tug of war with.
Yeah.
When he was in an open top tank, man, he'd fight you for a piece of shrimp.
He'd take it and just bite it and try and pull it. Yeah, he was fun. Craig's Catfish Cave says, puff, puff, pass. The wife's asleep.
Puff, puff, no pass.
No. Oh, no pass?
Nobody to pass to.
Oh, gotcha. He says the wife's asleep, so he plays when the wife's asleep.
Reaper, Craig's Catfish Cave.
Reaper. Oh my God. Christopher Junkin says, my first concert was Iron Maiden. Welcome to fucking rock and roll. One of the greatest bands ever. With my older sister, and when I was in the 5th grade, the Cow Palace in San Francisco concert scared the crap out of me. I loved it. Wow.
The Cow Palace? Yeah, the place has nasty.
I tell you what, Iron Maiden, because I'm a guitarist, is one of my favorite bands. You know, David Gilmour, Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Zach Wilde, and then you got Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden had made so many guitar riffs. It's amazing. And I played, what was that song? I was like, there's no way we can play this, but I want to try. And it was down, 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 down. I can't remember the name. I'm drawing a blank. For whom? No. Geez, somebody come in and tell me the name so I can remember it. Thank you. But we played it, and we played it amazing. My guitarist, Ralph Fletcher, at the time, he did an octave up for me, and we nailed that band. We nailed it. Our singer didn't really do that much justice, but he was passable, you know. But God damn, we nailed the guitar parts, and I was so proud of that song. It ain't For Whom the Bell Tolls. That's you know, Metallica. It's For Whom something. It's I don't know. Geez, I'm pulling a blank right now. Long Tong Johnny says, Big Rich's yard sales have got to be the best. Well, thank you. When we starting our yard sale, Raheem says, in the next couple of weeks. You know, I bought 10 by 20, what do you want to call them, where you park your car under? Tents, and they were so cheap, they fell apart over one night. I thought I could have these up for like a month. I could set up for the yard sale under them, and then, you know, take them down afterwards. I wasted my money. They were junk. They were garbage, you know, so it didn't work out.
Somebody actually watched you catch that red tail out of 350.
Yeah. Jennifer Bean says, it was cool to see you netting that big fish, Rich. I thought you was going to pull two up in one, but you finessed that back fish out of the front, like front. I was like, yeah, go Big Rich. Well, you know, someone had to teach Josh all he knows. You know what I'm saying? No, I know that when you get a big fish to the top of the water, here's the problem.
I know that when you get Reaper and Big Rich in front of that 350 tank, you just get the hell out of the way.
I'm not going to say a name, but somebody else was there helping us net, and they got the fish to the top, and they were like, okay, calm down, and they let the fish stand there, and next thing you know, he was like, and he puts like 10 gallons of water on everybody. And I'm like, pull him out of the water! Because once he's out of the water, he can't do that, you know? He can just flop in the net. So I know these things, you know? So when I got him, I pulled him up and out, no problem. Just get him out, you know? And nobody gets wet like that. Matt Limsay says, Alabama with the Oak Ridge Boys with Reba was amazing. Oh, my God. Alabama's amazing. Oak Ridge Boys is amazing. And Reba's amazing. That had to have been an awesome concert. Now, I'm not a, you know, all metal, all classic rock, all, you know, stuff on the charts kind of guy. Whatever moves you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the Nights the Lights went out in Georgia. Amazing song. You know what I'm saying? And I'm all, you know, heavy metal and classic rock. But I love that song. You know, I love Billy Ray Cyrus. Jesus Christ, you know. Where am I going to live when I get home? I can almost sing that song. And then, you know, Achy Breaky Heart, all that kind of stuff. It makes you move. As embarrassed as you are of the song, it makes you move. And I like that kind of music that makes you want to get up and go. You know what I'm saying?
You got to recognize the talent no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. My dad, he listened to nothing but bluegrass and stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of Oak Ridge Boys and stuff like that. You know, Elvira, love that song. And then, you know, stuff like my dad's song, you know, Bill Monroe, you know, old bluegrass country stuff. You know, there was some amazing, they called them pickers and grinners back then. But that's where, you know, like Hee Haw came out. And then you had Glenn Campbell, amazing on guitar. And then you had, oh, geez, what's his name?
Roy Clark.
Roy Clark, thank you very much.
He's got to be the best guitarist.
Unbelievable guitarist. Unbelievable. He's great on any instrument he plays.
Any
unbelievable.
Style, any tuning, anything.
Yeah. And he did it with style. and made you laugh at the same time. You know, he was amazing. Jens Carlson says, I only got 7 or 8 inches. Is she laughing? What's that about? Was that on the video or something?
What's that?
Jens Carlson says, I only got 7 inches or 8. What was that? What was that referring to?
I don't know. I didn't catch a comment.
Let us know, Jens.
Yeah.
Oh, Jennifer says, I think it was Let's Go Deeper with the Reaper. I got one of the community service guys that was puking. And, you know, he says, I said it was just a fish in a garbage can, you know, that died. It was 6-inch fish or 7-inch fish, whatever.
Oh.
And then he was puking and got a bloody nose from puking and all that. And he goes, you show him that 6-inch fish. And I'm like, I ain't showing no one my 6 or 7-inch fish or whatever it was, you know. I think that's maybe what she's referring to.
I missed that one.
Ashley Smith. I had a tank that had male beta in the community tank. Didn't find anything. And then all of a sudden, beta killed everything. Wow. Christopher Junkin says, Rich, my next comment was alpha hackers are different, and I have seen plenty of aggressive. Yes. So what I'm saying is, if you're playing the odds, 95% of them are deadly to every other fish. You may have that oddball, you know, one that may get along, but can you tell the future? Odds are, get it out of there before he kills your fish. That's all I'm saying.
What do you reckon with some big severums not eating flakes or pellets, only bloodworms? Stop feeding the bloodworms.
Yeah,
Then
just
they'll
feed
eat
it.
the
Just
flakes
feed
and
it.
pellets.
Yeah, you know, if you keep feeding it its favorite food, it'll keep eating it. If you stop feeding it bloodworms, that don't mean it's got parasites. Stop feeding it bloodworms and make its only type of food pellets, and go for like 2 weeks. And if you don't do it, maybe feed him some bloodworms to keep him going. And then do another 2 weeks of nothing but pellets. Eventually, he's going to get the thing that he can eat the pellets and he'll start eating them. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a healthy diet anyway. It'd be like you eating bacon all the time because you like it.
Matt LeMay says, Lori Barchek says, lights up when she mentions OFR. She always talks about your connection with Brian. Nobody will ever forget that. Brian was a cool guy. You know, he came here, he had fun, he swam in the pool, he hung out in the hot tub, you know, he enjoyed himself. And, you know, it's a sad, sad thing. I'm glad Lori gets some sort of happiness that, you know, OFR is around and maybe helps her remind her of her husband. You know, whatever helps, you know. Raheem even says, Christopher, you're gambling with your fish, keeping pockets. Yes. And the house wins and you're not the house. Period.
Odds in the house's favor, my friend. Always.
Spartan says, so on a crazy note, I suddenly lost my leucistic arowana after raising it from a fry. I am new to fish keeping and hadn't dealt with fishy loss like that, and you guys helped me through it. Love you guys. Oh, I'm glad we could help.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's awesome. Sorry you had to lose that fish. I know what it's like to invest your whole everything into that fish, and you're so proud of it, and you're so happy with it, and then some strange disease or some unknown thing takes him away in the night, and he's just gone, and there's nothing you can do. It's so disheartening. Well, as Christopher Junkin says, I would personally treat for worms with levomisol. Treating them isn't going to do no damage. Isn't going to do no. You know, you can treat them and it ain't going to hurt nothing.
It's another stress factor, though.
it's a little bit of stress, but you know, he's got a stable.
It's not necessary. Or just
Well, you know, just in case he's you know far reaching, maybe that's the reason he's not eating this. He can go ahead and treat it and not worry about you're not doing damage. You're only stressing the fish a little bit.
Yeah, I would still look to see some other, you know, more than just the diet.
Sean H says David Lee Roth is a clown. Hagar rocks. Well, you know what? No one can take away what David Lee Roth did on early Van Halen.
Yeah.
There was nobody like him. Nobody. He was a showman. He was a singer. He was the front man of that band. And, you know, talk about the women he could get and all this stuff. That he was amazing. You know what I'm saying? So to downplay that, Hagar rocks? Yes. I liked him most in Montrose. You know, Rock Candy's badass. You know, and then he did Heavy Metal, the soundtrack for that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I Can't Drive 55, that kind of stuff. And now he's doing, you know, things like Humans, Beings and stuff like that with Van Halen. I mean, the man is good. You cannot deny that. Sean's Everything and Anything video says, you guys need to watch Fish Story on YouTube. The fish are bigger than in your monster pond. Some are, some ain't. We know him very well. We knew him when he had his 2 8-foot arapaima that jumped out and died. He's got a couple of huge fish, you know, and you know he's got a couple of big tanks. And he calls himself the sister rescue of Ohio Fish Rescue. We know him very well. I've been to his place a couple of times. We do watch him, and thank you. Hip Hop Hillbilly says, I wish I'd have known Reaper was going to Boggs last weekend. I live around the corner basically from there, and I'm there in like at least once a month. If you're right around the corner from Boggs, then you're 25 minutes from OFR. Don't hear no excuses. Damn it. Jumped again. There's a
big jump.
yeah, look at how far back. Oh my God.
Yeah,
That was a big jump. I'm still, you know, scrolling up.
yeah, we've only got 6 minutes. Regular time.
I don't care about time. Oh my God.
Did you go past it?
No.
No, you didn't. Now people are saying buy the Reaper. So you went way past it.
No, I don't see all these things.
That's Hilltop Hillbillies. Right there.
Yep. Okay, that's where we left off. All right.
No, I won't do the rain dance. We don't need any rain.
Big R dance. You won't ever see me dance unless I'm drunk. And for one, what was that song? Oh, Jesus. Oh. She's on it. My.
Get it, man.
Oh, man, I can't remember the song.
Oh, well, we'll skip that one.
No, it's a My Pony. Oh, if My Pony was on and I'm drunk, I'm dancing. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care who I'm doing. I'm grabbing a pole. I'm grabbing a pool stick. I'm doing something, but I'm dancing.
Do a pole dance for us.
My Pony. Or even simply, you know, Baby Got Back, you know. or even what was the other one? I can't remember it. There's a few songs I'll dance to, you know.
Well, it depends on what you call dancing, man. When the good music comes on, I can't help but move.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm going to move with the
I'm
music.
all into, you know, heavy metal, rock, classic rock, all that stuff. But when my pony comes on, you know, that's I'm all grinding all over a bar pole, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm acting like your first dancer you met in a strip club.
Brings back those kind of memories. Vasquez family's here. How you doing? Yeah, I've been here for a while.
I haven't seen them. Everyone's saying bye now, so we're up to that point. Matt says David Lee Roth is done. Time to retire. Absolutely. Retire as the king. Don't come back as a clown. You know what I'm saying? Hip Hop Hillbilly. Thank you very much. Tyler Kerr says it's true, Rich. Don't know what you're referring to, but thank you. Oh my God. Lawrence Corthod says, do you know the story of the boy who put the finger in the dike? Yes, everybody's heard that story. Well, I went to that place and I got a group tour, so I had to try it. So I put my finger in the dike and she got mad. Oh my God, dude. That is wrong on so many different levels. I'm still laughing, but it's wrong.
Including you reading it.
Oh my God.
What's wrong with that one?
Tyler Kerr says, I agree, Rich. That Rush album is one of my favorites. Holy Grails. The 2112, yes. And even before that, you got The Trees and Cygnus X9 or something like that. Oh my God, these albums were amazing. Oh my God, Jens Carlson says, that Mexican musk turtle will get deported. No, he's not. Oh, just an early warning was awesome. Oh yeah, Fleetwood Mac's still great.
I think Bare Trees is one of my favorite albums ever. It just works. Thank you, Matt, on that. And when they were doing bar gigs, they would do a collage of Led Zeppelin tunes with an electric 12-string and an electric mandolin, and those girls knew what each one was going to do, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Playing an acoustic isn't really playing guitar.
Yeah, what? Like,
He said to bite me.
Play around with flamenco music and
Will
stuff, and he says,
Will you just do your job?
"Oh man, I love getting my hands on an old Dutch string Spanish.
Catgut, yeah.
Make it sing. Things have got such beautiful voices." Craig's Catfish Cave sent one Ohio gift for membership.
Nice.
Christopher Jenkins says thank you.
Shauna agreed. Stanley Pool Puffer.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the person, Steven Seagal. It is a band, like I thought. Steve and Seagulls is a bluegrass style done by people in Finland. They do Holy Diver that way. Okay, I'll
You
look
ever
them up.
heard of that band called Grass Food and Lodging?
No.
Yeah, it's a bluegrass band called Grass Food and Lodging. I almost went to work with them.
Raheem says, I love to watch videos of all the bands you mentioned, Rich. Well, of course. It wasn't the Trooper, Doompot. It wasn't the Trooper. It was, let me try and think back now. The time's getting near. Dan, 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 dan. Dan, 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 dan. Dan, 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 dan. Dan, 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 dan. Wow, now, wow, now, wow, now.
Welcome to this episode of Name That Tune.
You got it. I'm trying to remember the lyrics. For me was getting low. Down, 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 down.
Keep on going. Somebody will tell you.
I'm trying.
Just got to catch up with them.
Dan, 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 dan. It's time of the night. Dan, 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 dan. Wow, now, now, wow, now, now, now. Ah.
Oh, man.
I'm going to have to look this up now because it's pissing me off. Okay.
Sir
Trooper. No, of course not. Close this down.
Somebody
Right here.
said you were twerking to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh, yeah. So I was. Sir Mix-a-Lot, I was. You know, baby got back, you know. My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hon. You can do side stands or spit ups, but please don't lose that butt. Of course. All right, let me get to this thing here.
Yes,
Okay,
it's
YouTube.
after hours.
Search Iron Maiden hits.
Hallowed be thy name.
That's it. Thank you very much. Hallowed be
Thank
thy
God.
name.
Thank Holly.
Holy shit, that was it.
I'm looking ahead, waiting for them to answer. I'm just saying what they're saying.
Holy shit, that was bothering me so much. Yes, that's it. That's the
what I
song
got.
that we kicked ass so bad. We also played the Trooper, the Number of the Beast we played, but oh my God, you know, that Hallowed Be Thy Name was a 7 or so minute long song, and there were so many changes, and we just nailed it. It was so good. I mean, like, the hairs on the back of your neck would stand up when both guitars would come in at the same time, be in 2 different octaves and start playing. We were like, holy shit. We were like among royalty. It was so awesome. It was so awesome.
Oh, Reaper, everybody. We're on overtime.
Oh, yeah, it's 8:05. Reaper's home already?
No.
Oh, gotcha.
Reaper, everybody.
Oh, Reaper. Drink up, guys.
Jerry's getting
Yeah, so what I hear is you came up with a lot of good songs, Willie.
I'd like to know just what he's forgotten about playing guitar. even call myself a player.
Sue Ann disturbed the five-finger death punch, of course. You know, Matt says, you know, first Iron Maiden was his first concert, first band, you know.
I wouldn't know.
I tell you what, my first band was a three-piece out of Canada, and it wasn't Rush. It was Triumph. They blew me away. My older sister took me there, and, you know, I didn't know how life was. I didn't know that girls get away with anything. I didn't know any of this at this point. All I know is this is my first concert, and I'm thinking this is great. And we go to the concert, we have a great time, and after the concert, she grabs my hand and starts walking through the crowd. Okay, I'm following her. I have no choice. She takes us backstage. She walks around like she owned the place, and she goes to the place, the door, and next thing you know, we're sitting there with the band after the concert. I'm like, holy shit. And they, you know, signed our shirt and all this kind of stuff. Very nice guys, such sweethearts. Everything was great. And then, you know, we left, and that was my first concert. I got to go backstage with the band. I'm thinking all concerts are like this. No, it was just the concerts my sister went to, because girls get away with anything. JRW 1984 asks a very good question. Is there any fish that you would not take or that you all don't like? No, absolutely not. We take in everything. Now, I wish we had less pacu, less plecos, and less Oscars. Other than that, I don't, you know, say no to anything. We take in broken back, you know, arowanas, you know, fish that are almost ready to die. We'll give it a try, you know. I wish people would give their fish to us before we get a lot of fish that are like, hey, I've given him every type of medication, and, you know, he feels, it looks like he's dying. Can you guys help him? And we get him, and it's far too long to help him at that point. We take him in. They put him through stress of moving him while he's sick. We take them in, we try, you know, 30% of the time we can revive them and they're fine. But the other 70%, they're already too far gone. And we have to deal with them dying and telling people that they died under our care. You know, it's horrible. I hate that. If your fish is sick and you don't want to take care of him, please bring him to us sooner. We can help him out better. But once he's down that path for so long, he's going to die no matter what you're doing to him. And then you bring him to us and he dies on us. You know, it's horrible. So that's the only fish I would like to say no to, is sick fish. But we can't say no. Harry Potter says, how long is your hair, Big Rich? We did the shoulder surgery around the same time. That's who I am. Okay, that don't remind me of nothing, but I did lose all of my tendons off of this shoulder, and they sewed like 6 of them back on, and they couldn't find my bicep tendon. So my bicep only has one bicep coming through here. It's a small little thing. So I lost all power, you know, in arm wrestling and this kind of stuff. I've only got one bicep muscle.
Maybe somebody that was in physical therapy with you or something.
Right. So, let me see what he said. How long is your hair? My hair in the Guinness Book of World Records was 39.9 inches. So almost 40 inches long. And they did that from my part to the end of my hair. And I got into the Guinness Book of World Records as world's longest competitive mullet. All right, Jerry, this one's you.
Yep, Aquatics sent us $9.99. As a huge long-time fan, I find it not fair that some D-bags get to call Big Rich on his personal phone. And I don't. Love you, Rich, and your amazing father, friend,
Husband, animal keeper.
Stay fishy.
Thank you very
One
much.
day, whatever.
It's not that he gets to, it's that it was bothering me that he keeps calling, so I had to answer it to tell him not to call during the live stream. And then he started going off on me. So it's not that I'm giving favor to people that yell at me. I'm not a masochist. But, you know, you guys just have more couth and won't call during the live stream. Anyone can call me. My phone number's on the internet. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I don't know.
Yes,
He was really mad about something.
You can call me all you want, but my phone, my ringer, and my notification are turned off.
Yeah, that's what I didn't do.
Yeah. Oops.
Oops.
I mean, it's, you know,
But thank you very much for the $9.99. I appreciate it.
I got through, you sneaky little mouse.
Really? Bob Taylor says, I like Disturbed's cover of Living After Midnight more than Judas Priest. Man, I played Judas Priest, Living After Midnight, Breaking the Law, and Grinder in a bunch of my different bands I was in. We played all those songs, you know, because Priest rocks. Loren says, as long as the strippers aren't from a retirement home. Come on now, you got to give Granny some credit. She's still got moves. Zach Arnold says, the video with Paul Cavarro was awesome. All of them are bangers. Great work, guys. Thank you.
Oh.
Jens Carlson says, Lorenz, new kids, my idols, Nitro or Turbo. The band Nitro, holy shit. Underrated. If you guys have a chance, look up Nitro. There's a guitarist in there called Michelangelo Badia. Okay, this MFer is the fastest guitarist on the planet, bar none. He plays a 4-neck guitar, and he does the rhythm on one hand and the lead on the other hand at the same time. You know, he takes one guitar and he holds it up and lets it fall through his hands as he's playing, you know, this amazing riff, and you end up at the headstock. He's amazing. Michelangelo Badia. Amazing guitarist. I mean, my God, I've wanted his guitarist or his guitar ever since I've seen him. You know, Harley Jem says Triumph was an amazing band. Hung out with Rick Emmett. No way. After he left Triumph, really? They should never have split up. He was an amazing singer, though.
Hey, being in a band is like being married to 4 or 5 people all at the same
It is.
time. It's insane. How long you got? You know, it gets to a point where how long can you put up with a bastard?
Hey, Greta Van Fleet is good these days. Sounds like old music. Singer has a great voice. Yeah, but they came out, to me, they're a one-hit wonder. They came out, made one album, and they sounded a lot like Zeppelin, and they haven't done nothing since. You know what I'm saying? They've been around for 10 years now. They cashed in on what they could at that time, basically.
15 minutes of fame.
Right.
We should go back. Look at this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Genuine Pony was the name of the group that sang that song, that Pony song. Yes. Gracie come up with that. I'm sorry, but that song does it for me. Get me drunk and play Genuine. Holy shit. I'm your worst nightmare. I will be giving you lap dances left and right.
I'll have to remember that. Is that a mariachi song?
Oh.
I have no idea what checking things out on the side.
You know, talking about Paul Cavarro, and his video came out yesterday. My video came out today. Josh's video of Paul Cavarro being here will come out Monday. and it's going to be a banger.
And Reapers will come out Saturday or Sunday,
Yes,
depending on when he flips
he
it.
was here too.
Well, if he's here, or if we can manage to get that tank moved and stuff tomorrow, it won't come out till Sunday. At least that's what he told me.
Do you, JRW 1984 says, do you all rock the Wango Tango Ted Nugent? Man, Ted Nugent in his day was a wild man. I love Ted Nugent. Actually, the Double Live Gonzo album is one I still have. It's amazing. And my favorite song off there was Great White Buffalo. Amazing. You got Free For All, you got, of course, Great White Buffalo. What are the other songs on there? It's a Free For All. It's Hopperson. It's in the air tonight. Yeah. That was a great song. Cat Scratch Fever's on there. I mean, there's a bunch of songs on that album. I love that album. And Wango Dango, Sweet Poontang is on there. Yes. Stranglehold's on there. Fucking great album. All live. That man can play. Don't ever put down Ted Nugent. That man can play.
Jens Carlson caught me, man. The reference to Rastafari. Is that rat in the? Anyway, yeah. I channel like that sometimes. Watch too many kids with movies with the kids. At the time, I couldn't think of his name.
Zach Arnold says, I know a guy that was an instrument tech for Jackal. They tried hard to get to the top. Of course, every band tries hard. Jackal has got one thing going for him. Jesse James DeFree's voice. Other than that, they're just another drummer. They're just another guitarist. They're just another bassist, you know. They're not like stand out there. But they are a great bar band. They play at all these, you know, biker bars and all this different stuff, and they're great. They actually bring, you know, life to the audience, and they get the audience involved, this and that. I just saw Jackal last year at Geneva in Ohio. It was amazing. Yeah, it was the last fight I got into too. Okay, guys. It's 8:19. You gotta have more questions, or we're gonna go. Zach Arnold says they did open for AC/DC. I did not know that. Well, that's good on them. Great. You know, they're more of a local band, more of a bar band than they are a giant band. But you know, they've got so many different things going on with they have their own you know, moonshine. They do the what do you call it, the bike week in you know, Dakota. I mean, they're a great band. You got it. If you can see them, go see them. They're awesome. And he's like, you know, 50, 60 years old, and he's still got his voice. That voice is amazing. Jackal's voice, Jesse James Dupree, is amazing. That voice is crazy. I mean, look up Dirty Little Minds. Look up the Lumberjack song. You will fall in love with these guys. Look up, what's the other ones? I'm pulling. Yeah, Sturgis. Thank you. Sarah. You know, I'm not remembering all the rest of their songs, but god damn, they're awesome. Every song, it's like Party Town. You know what I'm saying? Listen to them. It's all real life. It's good.
When I went to Sturgis, he was still sucking on his mommy's dick.
You know, some things just, you know, you didn't have to mention that, Jerry. I'm just saying.
No, I was just thinking the band that was there that night.
Which was who?
Outrageous.
Who?
Beautiful band. I don't know who it was, man. I was
The
19.
Bearcat Studs Band.
Whatever. I was 19.
Was it Frankie Valli?
Could have been.
Was it Lester Flax and Earl Scruggs?
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra too, yeah.
No, I don't know. That's the night I passed out and let a joint burn all the way down on my chest.
Come on, guys. Ask some more questions or we're gonna go.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments, but no questions.
You're right.
Oh, well,
And they're talking amongst each other.
that's all right. We leave the live stream open and let you guys talk, and we'll leave.
And we can do that. We'll leave it open till midnight. We'll come back and shut it off.
That's the first time it's happened.
Right?
I need to go feed the koi. And
Jennifer
shut
Bean
things
says
down
she
there.
partied with them all. Jacqueline Bean. Freaking awesome. That's awesome.
I never had the pleasure.
Ryan says, can we get a Jerry Mermaid video?
No.
No. All right. It's up to you guys whether we stay or not. You know, some more questions. See how good Tracy's doing? She's not, you know, needing me at all.
Yeah, it's been
She's
beautiful.
doing great. Yeah.
Well, before we go, I want to say, all the time they were out there catching them big fish and everything, I was in the kitchen listening for Tracy so Rich could be out there with them.
He was my babysitter.
I wasn't.
In other words, he can't take care of Tracy or know what to do.
No, I
But
wouldn't
if
have
Tracy
been-
would beep, he would call me on my phone and I'd come running in, you know, so that I could be out there during that move and getting the video that I got, which I didn't put out, and doing all the stuff that I did. So, you know, Jerry's very helpful in that
But I
situation.
missed out on all the entertainment.
Yeah, he did. He's waiting for the video to come out because he don't know what happened.
I have to wait for the videos to come out to see what's going on. But I tell you, man, 90% of the stuff, shit that happens around here, should never gets caught on camera,
Right.
and some of it really should.
If we had somebody following us around, videoing everything, and then putting out videos, and I could say, okay, let's put this one out online, you know, let's put this one out. This is great. Let's do this one. But we only put out videos of what, okay, today we're going to move this. Let's video that. And that's all we do. But we don't video all the other stuff, you know.
All the other stuff that goes on.
And sometimes there's some haywire stuff going on that takes us hours to fix it, you know.
I get up in the morning, I go out there and turn on the lights and feed the fish, and there's a fountain going like this out of the 3,000, the hose ruptured. So I got
All
shut
over the
down.
floor.
turn
All
it
over
on,
the floor. The
all
hose
over
broke
the
and
floor.
laid down, and it still kept pumping out from the
Dropped the
3,000.
monster pond 3 inches overnight. So I get it all squared away and taped up and everything and running. And then the next morning, I get up and I go out there and I said, not going to have any problem with the 3,000. And that little bitty ass sump behind the globe pretended it was the 3,000. And the little tiny hose on it ruptured and it's going. And I went, oh, you little.
All over the pool room.
And what's next?
Okay, so the Basket family says, is Pond Professor still coming?
We don't.
I don't know. Here's the deal. I guess Greg from Aquascape, Greg the pond guy, Aquascape's owner, had a problem with Paul Cafaro, where he put in Paul Cafaro's pond, and then Paul Cafaro started, posting about APIs, products, this and that. Greg called him and, said, you can't do that. I just put in your pond. You need to advertise about our products, not theirs. And they had a falling out. This is way over my head. I'm not involved in any of this. Well, we're sitting here. Greg come here and he redid our pool pond. I have nothing but respect for the man. He redid that all free of charge, and I am loving the outcome. I have nothing but loyalty, intentions, and greatness for that man. He helped us out. Well, when we were going to put in the pond in the back, me and Greg talked about a 4 foot by 10 foot pond, the length of the deck right off of the deck, you know, and he donated out of the niceness of his heart everything for that, right? Well, me and Josh got to thinking, and we called Greg, and he's like, no, talk to Ed. So we talked to Ed, and Ed's like, yes, you can't put it there. We have the footings, the deck to deal with. We're gonna have to put it out farther in the yard. So me and Josh decided, let's make it bigger. I took the liner that he donated and used it for the roofing of the deck, and then I bought a new liner. Okay, so I was going to have to spend $1,200 on the roofing anyway, and then the new liner cost me, I think it was $1,700 for the bigger pond. So we get a bigger pond instead of 10 by 40. Now it's 30 by 40, and we got a liner big enough to do it. Great. I'll use his for the roof. I was going to have to spend the money anyway. Everything's good. We were so excited about building a bigger pond. We never thought that the stuff he donated for a wetland filter was based on a 40 foot by 10 foot pond, and we made it 40 foot by 30 foot pond. Okay, so it's a third the size we need. So we get done, and we're all like this, and then, hey, the filter's not keeping up, it's not doing its job, blah, blah, blah. No, you built the pond too big for that size filter. You need a bigger wetland filter. So I asked him, and he's like, no, I can't donate it to you. You can buy it at cost. And it was like $3,600. So that wasn't an option. All the parts that would have to go down into it, and then it would be more for the gravel that goes on top of it. So I didn't go that route, So then, this company, Owasa, calls us and says, look, you're having problems keeping your back pond clean. We can offer you these filters. Well, Josh is like, jumps on it. Yes, of course, we need that. And boom, we put the filters in. Well, I guess Greg got really mad because they're a competitor. We did not know. We're looking for filtration to help us clean this, but Greg is more like, hey, they're our competitors. We did all this for you. You can't advertise our competitors. And got mad at me. And,
think this is a Coke and Pepsi war or something?
pretty much.
Yeah, that's not
So,
right.
we meant nothing. We meant no harm to Greg at all. We did not even think about it. We're thinking about cleaning our pond, and, this is a way we can do this. So we put the 2 filters on there, and now Greg's all mad at us. But Greg had agreed to send, the pond professor, Ed, out. And now we don't know, because we gave a comment to Greg and he never got back to us. He's still liking Josh's post, but I don't know if he has attitude, if they're not sending nobody over. I have no idea. I'm stuck here in the middle. I don't know. I seriously never meant to offend Greg, and I didn't know they're a competitor. I didn't know any of that. This is a filter for fish. We're thinking we'll put it on the pond outside, and when Greg comes and we put in the bigger wetland filter, we'll move these filters inside to the tanks that need them. That was our thought. And we didn't think we're doing anything wrong. We didn't mean by any chance to offend Greg, upset Greg, nothing, But he feels a certain way because he told Josh this. He goes, I want to make sure is that Tracy?
Yeah. What?
Just making sure that wasn't Tracy. So anyways, he said this. He goes, I don't believe you guys meant any malice, but it still stings what you did to me. That's a word choice right there. That hurts. I don't know. Let me go check. It don't sound like it, but there is a tone to it. Let me look.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Keep it going, Gary.
Yeah, anyway, we're not competitive. Now, if somebody's going to donate something to take care of the business that we need to take care of around here, either that or we're going to make ourselves out of 55-gallon barrels. I mean, that's the way it is around here. do the best we can with what we have. Honestly, if I feel a product works, I'll talk about it. If I don't, I don't talk about it. I don't badmouth the ones that don't work, but if somebody asks me outright, I'm going to give them my opinion. But I'm not going to endorse something that I have no idea whether it works. I mean, they want me to endorse their light for plants. Well, you let me set that light up on the tank with plants for a year, and I'll tell you what I think of your light. But until, I mean, how can I tell, great, man, I can see the fish. It's just, that's the way it is. I'm not going to endorse, I don't believe in endorsing something that I don't agree with. Like I said.
Well, look, basis of the story is we believe in Greg's products.
Yeah.
His filters work great. We are the ones that undersize that back because in our haste to be like, oh my God, we can make a bigger pond. We're gonna make this huge thing, and then we're got all that. I spent $10,000 in rock and boulders, and then we're building that, and all of our friends are coming over, and we're helping build it. We never thought once that we're undersizing the filter for it.
Yeah,
and that was our fault, not Greg's.
On you, but
right. But
the point I was making was that we're not competitive. If somebody's going to give us something that does the job that we need done, we're going to accept it because otherwise we're going to build it.
Right. Now, if somebody came in and said, look, we're going to make your pond bigger and better than Greg could, and we'd be like, hey, we can't do that. We have loyalty to Greg. And I didn't realize, it wasn't a pond thing. It was an aquarium product. This is an aquarium filter. So we're going to use it on the pond until Greg gets here and is going to make it bigger like he said he was going to. Yeah. So I didn't think we were doing anything wrong. And I meant no malice. I meant no harm. I meant no, deviousness. I really thought, this is great. This company's coming in. And they even said, oh my God, Greg is so good at advertising. We can't compete with him. They up-talked Greg.
Yeah.
So why am I to believe that they're competitors? You know what I'm saying? They said nothing bad about Greg. They said all this good stuff about him, and all this, and they offered to help us. We're willing to take your help. That's great. And now Greg's mad at us because we did, and I did not know they were competitors.
That's on him.
I'm not putting his company down at all, or not trying to, because what they have done for us is amazing. Someone comes in. And what he did was over $150,000 in costs.
Yeah.
What they did for us is amazing. And I have loyalty to that. I will never, betray him. I just didn't know that he thinks we're betraying him in this whole thing with Owasa.
Well, that he's so busy. I mean,
well, it's been 4 years. He hasn't been here. Keeps saying, I'm coming. Yeah. So, of course, we're going to take some other filters somebody else offers. And we're trying to get our pond clean. That's all. We didn't mean no harm. We didn't mean no damage. But he's mad, and he tells Josh that I don't believe you guys meant malice and you did it on purpose, but it still stings. And that word stings.
That's on him.
Hurts me. I'm sorry, but it hurts me that it stings him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that person. I am not ungrateful.
That's fair.
I am completely grateful, and I am sorry. But now I'm in the situation. I don't know if he's coming or not. I don't know if they're still coming. I have no idea. I mean, that's the best I can say.
Yeah.
So I have a good heart, and I mean well to everybody, and I try helping everybody. And, I did not mean anything to Greg at all.
And don't misunderstand anything. We're not bad-mouthing anybody.
No.
Well, with the exception of the guys we got the first paint for the tanks from.
Yeah, screw them guys.
I mean,
they cost us so many hours of work. Unbelievable.
God. What it cost us. I mean, it isn't just the cost of the paint.
It was the hours and hours it took for us to strip it, re-rust, strip that, re-fucking rust. I mean, it was horrible.
If it would have worked as advertised, as spoken,
We'd have all 3 tanks up and running
they'd
right
be
now.
running right now.
Yeah.
I mean, stand behind your word. I mean, you know, otherwise your word will kill you. Well, I gotta go feed them fish. On top of that, I gotta eat.
Sarah Carroll goes, what is the meaning of life? Well, let's talk about this for the next 20 hours.
Right. What was the meaning of life?
What color tastes the best, Doompipe says. Well, now I can reflect on that one time I was doing acid in Florida and I woke up in that, Lake Ida Park. 3 days later, I've been missing.
I'm sorry, but I gotta answer that question.
Okay.
Titty pink.
The titty pink. That's the color it tastes like. Oh my
I
God.
mean, that's an open, nah, you know. Oh,
Deb Charge goes, Doompipe, pink. He's right on with you.
remember back in
And is in Africa right now, Shauna says, and that's true. But they were supposed to be here. They said the end of I'm sorry, it was supposed to be May, and then for some reason Camp Kenan didn't want that turtle coming here, which Greg was donating to us, the Fly River turtle. So then his trip got changed from the end of May to April. Then
no, the end of March day.
end of March to April, right? And then, the end of April came and, it was busy. Then now it's May and, he's still in Africa and we got no word whether they're coming or going. And we can't bother them. We can't bug them. I don't know if they're mad at us or what. I don't know. It's hard being in this position. Jennifer Bean says, got to read my other Jekyll comment when you get a chance. Night. Love you guys. See you next Friday. Extra love to my home slice, Jerry, for stepping up and watching Tracy.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Is this the same girl that was hitting on you before?
I don't know. And
Okay, sorry, whoever 330 is. I can't answer your phone during the live stream.
I really don't mind. And at the time, after fighting that water mess all morning,
Yeah.
I mean, when the 3,000 decided to spit like that, was the morning that Paul was coming.
Yeah. He showed up and it was a flood. After we made for 3 days, we took care of the place.
There was no
got it
flood
ready.
when he got here. The floor was wet, but there was
But he
no
was up
flood
front
when he
here.
got here.
When he got to the fish room, it was flooded. He was up front with me.
Yeah, well,
But the point was, for 3 days we cleaned up, made things, and got everything ready for Paul coming because he's going to do a bunch of videoing. He shows up here, and Jerry and Josh are like, yeah, blah blah blah, all this happened, and we're like, go handle it. I'll keep Paul up here, and they vacuumed up as fast as they could. It was still wet floors when we got out there.
the wet wasn't the only problem. I tripped 3 GFIs in the process,
Yep.
so that all had to be traced down and reset.
Okay. So let me see.
It's like farm work, man. You do
Monkeys.
the work when it needs to be done.
Yeah. Monkey says, Rich, do you like Cheap Trick? I love Cheap Trick. Way ahead of their time.
Oh, we'll get back into
So
music.
good.
We'll never get out of here.
Oh no, I'm good. Sebastian says, Greg needs to understand he doesn't own you. Domac says, did you have a contract with Greg? No. I actually, here, this is my theory with Greg.
People start to twist this all over the place.
But no, it's they have their right. There is a different angle everywhere on this whole situation with Greg.
Right.
But here's one angle. I asked him, I'm like, can you be our sponsor? I don't want to buy pellets no more. Now, pellets don't make up a big feeding in our situation. Most of our feeding is shrimp and tilapia fillets for the big guys. So I was like, okay, Greg, you sell aquascape pellets for your goldfish, your koi. If you want, we will have a bag of your aquascape product on every single tank, and that's all we'll feed if you give us free food. He's like, absolutely not. I will give you my cost. You can buy it at my cost, but I'm not gonna just give you the food. I'm like, okay. We got another company willing to give us free food. And I called Greg and told him about this, and he got really pissed. Okay, he got mad that I didn't even consider this. I'm like, what do you want? You won't give me the food? This company's willing to give me the food. I don't want to upset you, but he's like, do what you want, but that's pissing me off. And he hung up on me.
Yeah, we're not blackmailing them either.
We're not.
That's not
So
the
then
point.
a third company, Microblip, calls me, and they're willing to donate all the medication that we need, right? I call Greg, and I'm like, do you have a problem with this company? He's, oh, yeah, that's our major competitor, blah, 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 this and that. I'm like, well, really? Because they had nothing bad to say about you. They said, you have the market here, blah, 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 and they'd like to get involved in this market and this and that. And he's like, do what you want, but if you do that, I'm going to be pissed. So I had to tell Microblip, we can't take your products. I'm sorry. And they were offering anything we needed, any medication that we needed. And boom.
We don't use that much medication. But
Well,
that's
no,
not
we
the
use the
point.
shit out of Microblip,
Well, yeah.
large spectrum.
Well, the
antibiotics?
spectrum, yeah, and yeah.
We use the shit out of that. And we have to buy it at $50 for a half gallon.
Yeah.
And they were willing to send us cases of it free. And because of Greg, no, we can't do that. So I didn't do that. Well, when somebody offered us, they're a fish tank filter system. They're not in Greg's league. They're not on the ponds. They're not, I didn't think nothing of it. They offered us this. We're like, good job. We make a video. Josh went to their company, walked through it. They talked about all their filters. And then we took their 2 biggest filters and we brought them back here, and we decided to put them on our pond because it's having problems. We need the pond cleared up. We're not saying Owasa's better than, Aquascape. We're not saying Aquascape's better than Owasa. I truly believe in Aquascape's wetland filtration. That's what's in the bottom of our pool, and it makes our whole fish room completely clear for years now. But because of the pond outside and mine and Josh's hastiness, we didn't think about it. The wetland filter is way too small for that size pond. So it's not keeping the pond clear. And Greg's like, if you put another filter on there, it makes us look bad. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to do that. I really am just trying to clear the pond. It was our fault that the pond's got an undersized filtration. You donated it. Thank you very much. On a much smaller pond. Me and Josh went bigger, and in our excitement, we didn't even think that the filter needs to be bigger. Everybody makes mistakes. We were so psycho-focused on this pond and its build and making it so big and doing all this, we never even thought that the wetland filter wasn't big enough. So it's just a hard thing. I'm trying to, I am 100% loyal to the people that help. I will never let you down or try to or on purpose let you down. But in this case, it feels like I've let Greg down, and I don't mean to. I don't want to. Greg's a great guy. It's just that he's mad at us now, and I don't know if they're coming anymore, So I don't know. I hope he sees this and can understand how we feel. I never thought that a filter company was, direct opposition to him as a pond company. We just used their filters on our pond to help clear it up, and we didn't think nothing about it.
Like that, George.
So
He's like,
I don't
it
know.
took a while to answer that question.
We're in a situation now that just don't make sense to me, and it hurts, and it's all bad. And I can understand his point. I can understand, Owasa they had nothing bad to say about Greg. They were like, that man is amazing at his, marketing ability. That man took over the whole market. I mean, I wish we could market like he does. I mean, they had nothing bad to say about him. And, Greg's like, that's my competition. I didn't know that. I never meant to hurt Greg. I never meant to upset anybody. Here's a company offering us like mega filtration compared to our regular fish tank filtration. And that's what it's going to go back on when we thought, Greg was coming, making the wetland bigger. We're going to put these two filters on our filtration inside because they would be amazing filtration to have onto the quarantine tanks or maybe the 2200, that is a hard tank to keep clean. They would be amazing filtration. And it's just that I never meant to hurt anybody, never meant to upset anybody. I mean, I'm a good guy. Please, if there's a situation where you think I've wronged you, give me the benefit of the doubt and come ask me.
There's the best right there, Dale Maggie says there's a difference between donation and sponsorship.
Well, there is, and people throw sponsorship around and they don't know it. Okay, sponsorship. Let me explain that. Is in the world of sponsoring. Sponsorship is giving you money, giving you their product, taking care of you monthly for however long. Donations are, here's some extra food, take it. Okay, there's a difference.
Here's the filter you need, take it.
Right. Paul Cafaro has a sponsorship with API. They pay him like $6,000 a month to, show their products. And, that was the falling out Paul had with Greg. Greg built his pond, and now he's featuring somebody else's products. I get that, but in the same sense, I was in that situation where Greg built my pond, and I asked him about sponsoring us for food, and he didn't want to sponsor our food. But we're not allowed to get anybody else to donate food. I'm like, what? That don't make no sense.
Wow.
And
That's not good marketing.
Well,
That's not to get you bad mouth.
I love Greg. He's a good guy, and he means well, and he does good by people. It's just that he sort of treats you like he owns you after he does something good for you, and I don't want to think of him like that, And it's just that I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, but he treats me like I'm a backstabber, and I've done all this, and I really meant no harm. I got a big filter from somebody. It was like, oh, amazing. We got the best filters around now. I think if anybody got mad, it would be Fluval because they have sent us free filters.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, So the problem is I didn't put 20 Fluvals on the pond. I put, 2 Oasa filters on the pond. And that's what got Greg.
Few will send us their new stuff because they know we use their stuff.
Right. And we have Fluval on every tank out there.
They want our opinion of their new products.
And if Fluval is good enough for Ohio Fish Rescue, maybe you should think about Fluval too. You know what I'm saying? They believe in every Fluval on every one of their tanks. They have a stockpile of Fluvals extra, broken ones that they can build and make one. They got 20 extra Fluvals because that's the only filter they mess with. So
that way we only have to mess with one.
That's the filter market.
Yeah.
So when Owas came to us, they're filters.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the only one that might have problem with us is Fluval. I never thought Greg would have problem with us. So that's my fault in thinking that. And it just.
Let's close it for the evening and leave that conversation behind us.
Well, Greg's a good guy, and for you guys thinking bad of him, please don't.
Yeah, please.
He's a good guy, and he has helped us out. He made Tracy's dream come true with that front pond, and then he made my dream come true with the predator pond. Amazing. He had 50 people here each time showed up. He paid for everything. I mean, the man's a great man. He helped us out. We are who we are today because of Greg. I would certainly never go against him. So I don't want you guys thinking bad about him because he's mad at us right now. It's my fault. I didn't put two and two together. I'm thinking filtration, filter. That's not Greg. You know, he sells ponds. Now, if Owasa said, I'm going to come in and make your pond bigger and better for you, that would be a direct link against Greg.
I would question it, yeah.
Right. You know, so I'm sorry that this whole situation came about. I certainly never meant to hurt Greg's feelings. And, you know, I don't want him thinking, or you people thinking he's a bad guy. He's a businessman and, you know, he thinks his way. So
we put the filters to use where they were most needed.
Right.
And it's basically OFR's fault that it's needed there. So that's where we're taking care
Right.
of it.
It wasn't Greg's fault. It was our fault. We underestimated.
Hey, one of those on the 2200 and the other one on the 4400. That's great filtration.
Sebastian says, let's clear this up with Greg. It's a misunderstanding. Maybe discuss it. We have discussed it directly with him. And what he said was someone in his CAC forum, which is a certified aquascape contractor, okay, posted a link to one of our videos that shows how we're using Owasa filters on our pond. And that started the whole shit up. Now you got all these certified aquascape contractors talking bad about us. We're not in that group. We can't defend ourselves. So Greg contacts us and says, hey, you know, this is bad. You've done this. You hurt me. You blah, blah, blah. You know, can you post a response and I'll post it up into the certified aquascape contractor forum. You have to be a certified aquascape contractor to be in that forum. We're not. So Josh posted a nice post explaining everything, and then that's what's in there. And we haven't heard back from Greg since. So I don't know. All I know is in that, you know, when you hear, oh, you know, Mickey did something bad, and I think it's bad because of this. And then, you know, you join in and you say, well, that's bad. I would never treat someone like that. And it gets blown out of proportion from one side.
That's what it means. It's a misunderstanding.
Right. So the other side is not getting blown out of proportion. You know what I'm saying? They're only blowing out of proportion of what could be bad from that.
Well, that pond group is because they don't understand that. Now, if we took those filters and we said Greg's pond didn't work, so we had to add these filters.
Now, that would be against Greg. Yes.
But that pond is that way because we made the mistake.
We made the mistake, not Greg. Right.
Not Greg.
He donated what we were supposed to. The plans
we're covering our own ass.
He donated a filtration, which is great. I didn't have to buy. He donated a filtration based on the plans that we were going to build.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And now, you know, we decided to go bigger and we got, you know, confused and we were so onto the bigger pond, so concentrated, we didn't even think that we're building this pond bigger than a filter. We need to build the filter bigger.
Yeah, but those guys don't know. Those contractors are thinking that we're saying insinuating that Greg's pond didn't work.
Right.
But they're
when it wasn't Greg's pond, me and Josh built that pond.
I know.
Using Greg's stuff, and that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
That don't work. Well, of course it's not going to work because he donated because he's a good guy. What he thought we were building, and then we ended up building way bigger.
That front pond works beautiful and is balanced.
Front pond is always crystal clear.
And I've seen Greg's videos, and some of his systems are
to die for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and he does good. He's knowledgeable. He knows. You know. I haven't discussed a lot with him, but I've had a couple of conversations. But anyway, it's, you know, if he'd have put that pond together out there with the design as the size that it is, we would have no trouble right now keeping it clear.
Oh yeah, if he'd
but he
knew
wasn't
ahead of time
involved in the installation.
Right. If he'd have known ahead of time it was going to be 10 by 40 or 30 by 40.
Yeah.
He'd have said, you need a wetland this big.
You need larger, yeah.
And if we'd have built that pond would be crystal clear right now. You know? We
definitely need more than one skimmer.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's two skimmers out there that we don't even use one.
I know.
He put 2 on there for that small of a pond,
Yeah.
but we don't.
I'd like
We
to
only
see-
use the one. You
I'd
know?
like to see at least one in that one dead corner.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're getting off the. It's
Well,
almost
that
9
was the whole
o'clock.
situation, and I certainly never meant Greg any harm, and I hope he can see this because I don't know. But anyway, but Doom Pie says Greg's filter is the best filter at the rescue. Thank you.
Thanks, Doobie.
You just won't get off of it. You're like me and Josh with Mabu and MBR. I call it a Mabu puffer because that's what somebody from Africa called me or texted me and said it's pronounced, because I used to say MBR puffer all the time. It's pronounced MAH stash boo ma boo.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but it's spelled MBU, and it's hard to say MBU. You know what I'm saying? So I listened to the guy from Africa saying this is what we call them. That's how that's pronounced. And now Josh is like, I don't buy it. They're MBU puffers. So he still calls them MBU, and I'm calling them Mabu, and that's the way we are.
Well, those African cichlids. Every time I hear the Mabu, I can't help but think about the Mabumba cichlids,
Oh, the Mabu cichlids, Mbuna.
Mbuna, whatever. Okay, our guy from Kenya told me what it means. All that means is edible.
Oh my God. Edible cichlids?
Yeah,
We're calling them Mabuna? They're edible cichlids?
yeah. That word means those are the ones you can eat.
That's horrible.
Basically, all the little rock cichlids. I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, it's almost 9 o'clock, and I want to get out there and feed them koi before I lose all the light.
All right. Well, no, it's past dark. It's you lost all the lights.
I've still got.
It's
Well,
dark.
you're half blind. There's enough light out there to still feed the koi. It's cutting it close.
All right, see ya, Jerry.
It'll be 10 o'clock.
Hey, Jerry.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. Anybody else got something else to talk about?
Stay fishy, my friends. Let me see. Reaper. That was the word.
That was the word. I'll drink to that. Reaper, reaper, reaper. Everybody saying good night, Jerry.
Yeah, my phone's about ready to die.
Now you might not meet your wife this week. Okay, anything else? Or I gotta sign off too. Oh, Dominic says, how's the Dolomac? Okay, I hope I made it right. How's the yard drying out? The backyard over there? No, we're still under. It's raining 2 out of 3 days here, so it's still soaking wet. It's still, you walk on the grass and you mush into wetness. You know what I'm saying? So I can't take the lawnmower over there yet. But the rest of the grass. I mean, it looks like, I swear to God, just today, me and Jerry were like, holy shit, it looks like we didn't even mow 3 days ago. I have to mow the lawn again. And that's probably because of how much it's rained. Sean says, what's the smallest fish you have? Well, probably a baby bristlenose pleco, about 2 inches. He's up in the 150-gallon tank. We just put like, I think 10 or 12 in there. Sorry for all you people that need rain. We got too much here. I'd love to send it your way. Actually, another point. I got Skylar's 4-wheeler running, and it turns out, you know what the problem was? when you turn on the choke, it wasn't engaging until you moved the choke like 3/4 of an inch, and then it engaged the choke. So we, moved. There's a adjuster nut and then a lock nut. We adjusted all the way out and made it to where there's no play, and then brought the locking nut up to it. And now you turn the choke on, the thing clicks, starts, and runs, and you can give it gas. You can drive it around, everything else, and then when it warms up, you can turn the choke off. Everything's working great. I think there's nothing left to fix on it. I'm gonna put the seat on it tomorrow, and Skylar can come get it. And she's all happy because she says we can sell this one for 15. I said 1,000, but either way, we can put that towards the new money or the new four-wheeler. And she sold something that was given to her, a facial like red mask, like red LED mask somebody gave to her, and she sold it for $800. So she's got $800 to put towards it. And I've got $500 into this four-wheeler that I originally bought for her, and then we upgraded and then sold it and then upgraded and sold it, and now we've got this one. It's a 2006 Yamaha Bruin. It's a 350, and it's now it's running. It's running good. We put the seat back on, and now she can sell that one. And if she sells that for, let's say, $1,200, right in between what I say it's worth and what she says it's worth, we sell it for $1,200 and put her, $800 towards it. There's $2,000 to buy a better four-wheeler. And then, now she can buy like a 2006 to a 2008, like 600 or 700, like Grizzly or something. And, boom, she's got a nice running four-wheeler, which is all I wanted to teach her in the first place. Because we had, I told her, let's buy like a cheap one, and we'll build it up and sell it. And then we'll buy a better one. Then we'll build it up and sell it and buy a better one. And now she's up to a $20 or $2,000 four-wheeler. You can buy a great running four-wheeler at $2,000, but at $400 it's pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? So we did this, and I've taught her a lot about it. And now she wants to, get the new one where she can ride this summer with me, and then still buy another $300-400 beater to work on and fix up. I'm like, that's okay, but all this whole time it's been me working on it and fixing it up. If you're going to do that, you need to do that. Work on it, learn how to work on it, fix things up. I'm all willing to help a friend out, but I don't know. She's all excited about getting this new four-wheeler now. So more power to you, Skylar. Doom Pie says, did I say something wrong again? Comment didn't come through. Didn't mean to say something wrong. Let me back up and see if there's something deleted. I didn't see nothing deleted at all. I'm going way back, Doom Pie. I'm going. Yeah, I don't see nothing deleted. Okay, so I'm done. I'm done looking. I'm coming back down to the bottom. All right. So, sorry. Wait, whatever you think happened, didn't happen. There was nobody deleting your stuff. Holly Jem says the front tank is so full of life. I love it with the Geos and Angels. It is interesting, ain't it? It is so just like everything moves all the time. It's so like angelic. It's so, I look at it and I just want to stare at it and keep watching, Dubai says the Netherlands are also dry at this moment. James McNally says, how's your weight loss journey going, Big Rich? Well, I went from 340. I'm at 315 now. But this last week, I've ate. You know what I'm saying? So I'm staying. I went to 315 to 316, back to 315. So, I mean, like, I'm not losing right now, but I'm not gaining. So now Reaper brought over that food tonight. I'm done. I'm not going to eat for a while, and get the next thing. Maybe hopefully 310, then 300. As long as there's effort, there can be progress. Period. If there's no effort and you complain about everything, you'll never get nowhere. You have to have effort. Yeah, see, Skylar called me during this. How was the live stream? Okay, how was the live stream? I had to go home and immediately shower. I was metal detecting. I was caked with mud. She's back in town. She's not at her, aunt and uncle's up in whatever. She's back in home, and she's letting me know what's going on. Gracie says, "Hey, Rich, we have bad weather coming in tonight here in Ohio. Just seeing it on the news." Well, you know what? We have a roof over everything. We're good to go. I live indoors. We're okay. Doomfly says metal detecting. No, metal detecting. She has a very nice metal detector, and she was going Civil War searching. So she's reading all this stuff about the Civil War and where they had fights, and she's going out looking for bullets and cannonballs and all this kind of stuff. She's happy doing it, so it makes her happy. All right, any more questions? 9 o'clock. I'm gonna go if you guys ain't got questions. How many hours can I sit here and think of things to talk about? Right? Has Skylar found anything cool? Yes, she found Civil War. Oh, that's Josh. Yeah, I got to answer this one. Hey, what's up, Josh? You're on speakerphone on the live stream. How you doing? Still on the live stream, brother.
All right. Well, I'll let you go.
No, what'd you need?
I'm calling to talk some business.
Okay, well, give me, I don't know, 15 minutes, maybe a half hour, and I'll be done.
It's nothing, no big deal. We just talk about mom.
Okay. Bye, buddy.
All right, fine.
All right. Everyone's saying hello, Josh. Matthew Hayes says, "Why is it so hard to find a 300 to a 500 gallon tank?" Because, not many people buy a 300 to 500 gallon tank that decide, I want a 750 gallon tank and I'm going to sell this old tank for next to nothing. That's the problem. They cost so much in the public eye that the used prices don't get, thrown around. I like to buy out pet stores that are closing down, people that have pet rooms that are, closing everything down. And, that's where we get our deals from. So it's hard to find a 300, 500 gallon, 1,000 gallon, 4,000 gallon tank for sale used cheap. It's unheard of. Doom Pie says they are all at the over our spring sale. I don't know what that means. Let me go up and look. Yeah, I don't know what he's referring to, but Raheem says, "Hey, Rich." Hey, Raheem. What's up, buddy? Okay, here's the problem. The spring sale this year, we had so many, we bought them the metal tanks, so we're in the negative. And then we had to buy the paint twice, so we're in the negative. So Josh is selling everything that we can. And, okay, like he sells a 125 and I don't know, 75, and he gets, $400. And then, he puts that towards the debt. Okay. covered the debt up front. Josh paid me back out of, the resale stuff. So it's hard for us to have a sale when we don't have any big tanks left because Josh sold them all basically. So we have 150 heaters. We have probably 100 filters. We have, bunch of tubs full of, decorations and, a couple of oddball things, but we don't have any big tanks. The biggest tank we got now is 125, probably 5 or so 50 gallons, maybe 3 75 gallons, 10 30 to 40 gallons, 10 gallons or 20 gallons. I mean, we don't have that much, so it's not a big, draw to come to the sale this year. So I was thinking of skipping it. I don't know. Holly John says, the 300 and 500 gallon tanks are at your sale? There used to be. We'd always have a couple of tanks that were like, holy shit, you have to come to this sale, Right now, we don't have anything above a 125. We got a bunch of maybe 75s, 55s, 40s, 30s, 20s, and 10s. We don't have any, big, huge thing for sale cheap, And then we heard that Sue Ann and depth charge wasn't coming, so we're like, why even have the sale? They were the whole reason we had the sale. They were, them coming out and visiting us. Zach Arnold says, I got lucky and got a 180 for 400. James McNally says, what happened to the Dwight Howard snake tank? It's still here. We still have it. It's still sitting here. It's in the way, but we have it. Even Raheem says, still there, bro. It's still there. On the Paul Caparo video today, I mentioned it. It's still here. Let me see what my phone says now. Oh, the Don. Big Rich, do you still talk to the guy from Kentucky? Are you talking about JP Merlo? Hell yeah. He's a preacher friend of mine. Hell of a nice guy. We're his headline every time we go to one of his shows. He's a very nice guy. And yes, we still talk to him. Dolomax says, are you going to set up the old 3000 outside or are you throwing it? Okay, here's the thing. And Doompie says, donate it to Greg. Greg actually donated it to us. Okay, so that's where it comes from. But anyways, back to Dolomac. I wanted, Josh's idea is, let's cut the 3000 up into pieces, get it out of there, use the window for the new tank, put the new tank in place. We upgraded. Yes, that's one idea. 2, okay, it's coming apart at the seams. I get that. But if we take it out in one piece and we put a strap, like a trucking strap, the ratchet straps that goes over a semi-truck, we put one of them or 2 of them all the way around the bottom and pull it together, it won't spread out under the weight of the water, right? So we can put, a new coating of 2-part epoxy in there, or in the corners, once it's filled up with water, go ahead and take, what's that tape called? Flex Seal, and put the tape underwater and cover the whole corner, and it right now it's working. That's how we got it to stop leaking now is we put Flex Seal tape in the corner. But we know the corner came out, so we know it's only a matter of time. So we can't keep relying on this. But if it's outside around the pond and it's propped up, and you can put all the koi for quarantine in there and then put them into the pond later, this pond can be held up and propped up. We'd have to make a stand for it. We'd have to put, props into the ground and make them bell-shaped of cement holding the 4x4s because it's heavy. But we can do that. And then when you look at the pond, you see the other side of the pond, but you see a 4-foot tall tank with 11-foot window full of koi. Okay, that would be better. But we don't want it to leak. But if it does leak, it leaks outside onto the grass and it's not a big problem. So I'm going to try. Here's my idea. I'm going to try and remove it in one piece. We have to pull it out and pull it this way, then flip it up on the end to get it out the doors. And if we can get it out the doors in one piece without destroying it, we're going to move it to the backyard and set it up and build a platform for it around the pond. Because the pond, goes up on each side. And if I want a tank standing up here, I'm going to have to build a platform for it to sit on and then have it propped into the ground back here, right? So then we can place the new tank onto the propping setup that we made. But if we can't get it out, we flip it up and it falls apart. We're just taking the glass out and putting it in the new tank, okay? And if we can get it out without it falling apart and we can rebuild it, make sure everything's good, outside, we're going to rebuy a new piece of panel glass for the tank on the inside. That's where we're at right now. Sue Ann says, I am currently cleaning out the tank for turtles that you about drowned me for, Rich. What does that mean? I wouldn't drown you, Sue Ann. I love you. What are you saying by that? I gave you too many turtles? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. Ryan Dunn says, I heard about your partnership with Idaho Badger Rescue. How soon will we start seeing badgers in Ohio? What the fuck are you talking about? I've never heard of Idaho Badger Rescue. Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what partnership you're talking about. Have no clue what you're saying. Are you joking? I don't know. Happy anniversary, Dad says. Big Rich, any word on Charlie at the Legacy? I got here pretty late. You know what? I have left messages. I have called Jay. I've left messages for Lori. No one's called me back. I have no clue what's going on. I have no clue what's happened yet. I am sitting here as clueless as you guys are. I'm sorry for that. Everybody says that, they're so happy that we donated this or that, but I'm trying to contact them about fish and no one's contacting me back. So they could be very busy at this point, and it's fine. But I'd really like an answer what's going on. James McNally says, are you going to give your granddaughter a horse or a pony? There's enough room in your back garden for the horse case. Actually, when I moved here, the barn when you go on the back deck and you see the food stuff, there's a barn to the left. That was a horse barn, and there is a horse tie-off outside the barn. I own an acre 0.3, so all you need for a horse is three quarters of an acre, and I've got an acre 0.3, so you can have a horse here. I never thought about having a horse here, But I mean, I would get her a miniature pony. I think that would be awesome. You know what I'm saying? I have to look into how they have to be taken care of in the winter and this and that. But yeah, I would love to. I mean, she's my granddaughter. She deserves it. Oh, Shauna says Lori's on vacation with her daughter. Okay. Sue Ann says the boat ride. You said for the low price of 2 turtles, then when I jumped in the lake, you kept driving off. I wouldn't do that to you, Sue Ann. I don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't do that. What are you talking about, girl? Happy American Dad says, Big Richie, you're doing a great job. So happy that big tanks are getting done. You know, me too. Me too. We're getting to it. It's just a matter of, you know, hey, this all happened. Now you got to redo them all. Oh, wait, this person's coming. Oh, Greg's coming. Oh, this is happening. We just got hit with so much stuff. We don't have time. You know what I'm saying? And we're trying to get everything done. I mean, every day we work off of a list towards the end goal. You know, the 3,500 gallon tank. You have to take off the filters. You have to take off the wood. You have to take out all the fish. You have to take out the water. Boom, 3,000 gallon tank needs to be moved out. 3,500 gallon tank needs to be moved in. 3,500 gallon tank needs to be set down. And then, you know, you need to fill it up. You need to drill holes, hook up the filtration. I mean, I've got a list of everything that needs to be done, and we're trying to knock off the top of every list. You know, the dog bone needs to have the bottom, you know, wood cut off. It needs to be filled up with PVC, half-inch PVC plywood instead of wood, so it never rots. Backup is cover half-inch PVC with 2-part epoxy paint, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Fillers are connect on the 2-part, on the PVC half-inch plywood sheets, 4x8. You can get them at $20 a sheet. That's what I want. It'll never, you know, ruin in wetness. So I need 5 sheets of that. He's on vacation now. I called him tonight. He's on vacation. He won't be back for another couple days. So we won't know for a couple days. Now, in the meantime, we're trying to build the rock wall underneath and then cover the poles with Universal Rock's background and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Hang on. That's Tracy. Okay. No more beeping. Swan says, F my ass off the boat ride you said for the low price of 2 turtles. Then when I jumped off, you, okay, this is the same thing. You kept driving off. I wouldn't drive off on you, Sue-Ann. Don't lie to people. And if I drove off, your husband was in the car or the boat with me. So come on now. We were only joking. We never meant no harm if we did such a thing. Okay. You know, Sue-Ann, we love you. You know why? Because you know how to treat a man. You're a great cook. You cook him food. You clean up afterwards. Holy shit. How can anyone not love you? Right? That's what I'm saying. All right, guys. It's going on 9:30. I'm out of here. You know, enjoy your Friday night. Keep doing what you're doing. Garcia Aquatics. Finally, they're here. Jen says, miss my Raptor 700. Aw. But Garcia Aquatics says, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to hit that like button and the share button. You know, we have 300 people here, and you know, there's only 40 likes. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. You can help us out. Harley Jem says, thanks for the old time. Doombot says, it's Saturday already, Big Rich. Tolomax says, night, Rich, night all. Shauna says, have a great night, Rich, and everybody in chat. Hopefully, I'm better by next Friday. Stay fishy, my friends. Here I am getting a hiccup. All right, guys. We're out of here. Love you all. Stay fishy, my friends. Thanks for hanging out on a Friday night. Let me